Good morning, 9 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. They're still working a crash scene this morning on 24 westbound at the Antioch Pike overpass. It's off to the right shoulder, however, at this point. A new investigation opens at AES today. WSMV4's Marius Payton says that the U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board is now getting involved.
Deploying a team there this week now that the ATF has completed its initial evaluation of the scene. The Chemical Safety Board will do an initial assessment of the area and will meet with AES management, the ATF, and other officials to try to figure out what happened.
So far, the ATF determined that thousands of pounds of what they call high explosives ignited in a production area at AES. 16 people were killed. There are new concerns about a growing homeless population in Hermitage. Metro Councilman Jordan Huffman tells News 2 that these homeless people are congregating behind businesses on Lebanon Pike near Tyler Drive.
You'll find individuals with needles hanging out of their arms. I've seen that. Constituents have reported that. That's pretty common, unfortunately.
Huffman saying he's been hearing more and more from constituents who have been approached by these people, too. He tells News 2 he's working with police to address the issues. It's a staggering number. Amazon is cutting 14,000 jobs, mostly at its corporate offices. The company says it's all due to the advancements in AI. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis.
This is one of the largest rounds of layoffs in the company's history. Why would Amazon be doing this right now, ahead of the holidays, while the company seems to be doing well? Well, in a note to employees this morning, they say the world is changing quickly. This generation of AI is the most transformative technology we have seen since the internet.
Amazon said these laid off workers who are affected will have an opportunity to apply for open jobs in other parts of the company. Jamaica is bracing for the arrival of Hurricane Melissa, now a Cat 5 storm.
Hurricane Melissa bringing life-threatening winds up to 175 miles per hour. Some American tourists trapped after all major airlines shut down, including Jonesboro, Arkansas residents Maritza Caver-Blake and her husband celebrating their 10-year anniversary, now unable to get home to their 4- and 8-year-old kids.
They were expecting their parents back on Sunday. We don't want to tell them Mommy and Daddy is stuck in another country.
Air Force hurricane hunters trying to fly into the eye of the storm. The turbulence so severe, they were forced to turn back.
That's ABC's Ike Ejochi. Wall Street market numbers here brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Well, Wall Street hit some new highs yesterday. Today, looks like we're going to add to it. The Dow Jones Industrial's up 219, the NASDAQ gaining 78, and the S&P 500 index plus 3 points. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Did you catch Dan on the camera when you turned on my camera?
No, I was being smart and put you up last second like I normally do.
Okay, Dan was in here until until Kanye started singing.
Bro is gabbing. Yapping.
He's just very unsure about whether or not he should apologize to that lady with the bull ring.
Still no.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I was listening in the back. I'm a solid no.
That was my parting words to him. I said, don't apologize for anything.
Good.
Stand strong.
I said, you've said worse, Dan. He said,
absolutely.
All right, fair.
Good point.
Fair. We got a lot to get to today, and I'm very excited to have you here. No matter how you're listening, tune in, iHeartRadio, the FM dial. Maybe you're watching us on Super Talk TV. I'm waving. If you're watching us, you see that because you're watching us. But I had to explain it for the...
You explained the joke that it doesn't work.
But I explained it for the radio guys who don't see anything on their screen. They don't see me waving and smiling. It's a great smile.
It's a
smile.
It's a smile. You get a fresh haircut?
I did. I
went
and saw my guy Nick down
Let's
at Midtown
go.
Barbershop. Keep telling him, I'm like, dude, you got to advertise.
Bro, that would be huge.
I'm like, what are we doing? There's no barbershops on the station.
Oh, yeah. We need it. Absolutely, he should do it.
Don't worry. I got Tanya.
Soon.
I got Tanya from sales working on them.
Let's go.
Nothing gets through the cracks with Tanya.
No, absolutely not.
She's a beast.
November, watch out.
November. Yeah. Well, isn't it No Shave November?
True.
That would be
Set
the
your head,
angle
though.
I would take. Like, we need to combat the No Shave November propaganda with good barbershop ads. That's what I would do.
I'm here for it.
That's for a good cause, though, right?
Yeah. You're not shaving your head, though. Don't
Fair.
shave your face.
Okay. A lot to get to today. I don't know where I was going with that. You squirreled me.
Just a little bit. It's my job.
So you can watch us on Super Talk TV. We'll have video for all of the audio that you hear on your radio, and it's just an added bonus. Sometimes you need to see the video to get the whole picture. And yesterday, we started to see a more clear picture of what's happening on the Asia trip with Donald Trump. Mr. Trump went to the home of the heroic Shinzo Abe, former Japan prime minister, and he spoke a lot about Abe while he was there. And he met with the new Japanese prime minister, and I know I'm going to butcher this, and I feel terrible. Is it Sanae Takichi? Sanae Takichi. Does that sound right? Are you looking at it?
I think that's good.
You think that's good?
Yeah.
I got a thumbs up from Jones.
Yeah, it's as far as I'm no help.
Trump got some hats for her. Did you see the brand new hats? It's on the screen if you're watching on Super Talk TV. It's kind of like a dark MAGA vibe with a bit of gold infusion. And
I'm here for it.
It says Japan is back. We're so back. And I love it. And Trump signed the hats for the new prime minister. Takichi Sanae Takichi. This is one, I don't know. Maybe I'm an uncultured swine, but I get very confused on which is the last name, which is the first name.
I never know either.
Nobody knows. I don't think.
We don't know.
I don't think anybody knows. I think it's one of those things that Japan would rather keep a mystery.
I'm here for mystery.
The Prime Minister of Japan congratulating Donald Trump on securing peace around the world yesterday.
Prime Minister Abe often told me about your dynamic diplomacy. Most recently, Mr. President succeeded in securing a ceasefire deal between Thailand and Cambodia and contributed to ensuring peace in Asia. Also, the deal you have recently achieved in the Middle East is an unprecedented historic achievement.
これだけの短期間に世界がより平和になりました。でこの世界の平和と安定のトランプ大統領の揺るぎないコミットを高く評価します。で私自身も強い感銘を受けました。
In such a short period of time, the world started to enjoy more peace on the ground. And in this context, I highly value your unwavering commitment towards peace and stability. I, myself, was so impressed and inspired by you, Mr. President.
So that was the new Prime Minister of Japan speaking through an interpreter, and I just want to say I thought that was based. So she can't speak English, and she's like, nah, I'm going to go ahead and speak Japanese, and we'll let the interpreter do the interpreting. I think that's kind of based. I think Japan has a classic culture, and good for them leaning into it. It seems like this conservative prime minister of Japan is going to be leaning into it. They say that she's the most conservative prime minister that they've ever had. First female prime minister that they've ever had in Japan as well. And she's congratulating Donald Trump on what she sees him doing around the world. And it's hard not to congratulate President Trump. He has been an absolute beast. Most recently, they were celebrating the peace deal between Thailand and Cambodia in Malaysia. She also gave him props for the historic Middle East peace deal. How do you do? We mentioned the console wars yesterday. I mean, the guy's unstoppable. He's unstoppable. You have to give him his flowers, and she did just that. President Trump, in return, did the exact same for the new prime minister of Japan, Takeshi Sine. And while speaking to Prime Minister Takeshi, he brought up Shinzo Abe, his friend who was assassinated, and he said, listen, even before I knew you, Shinzo was saying nice things about you behind your back.
Well, I want to thank you very much, and I want to congratulate you. As you know, Shinzo Abe was a great friend of mine, and I was very saddened to see what happened. It was so shocking, but he spoke so well of you, even before we knew what was going to happen and your ascension. He spoke so well of you long before we met. And I'm not surprised to see that you are now the Prime Minister, and he would be very happy to know that. And I congratulate you on behalf of the United States of America.
I thought that was a classy thing to do. Listen, we all know that Trump and Shinzo had a great friendship, and to hear him say to the new Prime Minister, man, even before I knew you, he was saying wonderful things about you. That makes a lot of people pretty happy, I'm sure, in Japan. And he talked about his friend losing his life. I believe that was just a radical political assassination, and it was a homemade gun, if I recall correctly, that Shinzo Abe was killed with. Just bananas. Rest in peace to Shinzo. But President Trump was good friends with him. And he had a good relationship with Japan in his first term, and he's going to continue to have a good relationship with Japan. They unveiled quite a few things from their talks. But real quick, President Trump, just once again, speaking on the greatness of Japan.
I have always had a great love of Japan and a great respect of Japan. And I will say that this will be a relationship that will be stronger than ever before. And I look forward to working with you. And on behalf of our country, I want to just let you know, anytime you have any question, any doubt, anything you want, any favors you need, anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level, and it's a great honor to be with you, especially so early in what will be, I think, one of the greatest prime ministers. I think you will be one of the great, everything I know, from Shinzo and others, you will be one of the great prime ministers. I'd also like to congratulate you on being the first woman prime minister. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, and I want to congratulate you on that. I think that has to be called out. And you're going to do a fantastic job, and we're going to have a fantastic relationship. Thank you very much.
So while they were there, President Trump and Prime Minister Takeshi Sine, they signed agreements on new strategic investments in critical minerals. They say ushering in a new golden age for the U.S.-Japan alliance. That's fantastic. President Trump also let everyone know that they secured a $550 billion investment from Japan under the agreement that he signed with Prime Minister Sine Takeshi or Takeshi Sine. It depends on where you're reading the news. Everybody's ordering her name different ways, and I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. I have no idea. But this is the investment that President Trump secured on this trip.
Under the historic trade deal with the Prime Minister that is signed today and private sector agreements that were signed moments ago, we'll be increasing our commerce very, very much further. Japan's going to be investing $550 billion into the United States, and it's an amazing thing, and they're happy, and they're gonna love it. It's going to be really good. It's going to be a great for everybody. But building up an allied industrial base, and one of the things that makes me so happy is they'll be taking some of our product. Japan has I don't think I'm saying anything that's very secret. They've been typically slightly closed as a country. It was not easy to come in, but they're taking some of our cars and a lot of our different thing, rice, which is actually a big deal because, as you know, they wouldn't do that, and they're taking corn, and they're taking the Ford 150 here, the big thing, some of our cars. So it's really a great thing. It's going to be great for them. It's going to be great for everybody.
And you hear President Trump laying out what we're going to be bringing to Japan: cars, rice, and the money that's going to be made for the United States that way. He was also speaking with military members at Yokosuka Naval Base on the USS George Washington. And while he was there, he also unveiled that he was told by the Prime Minister that Toyota is going to be putting auto plants all over the United States. So not only are we going to be selling our Fords in Japan, but we're going to be making our Toyotas in Michigan.
And I was just told by the Prime Minister that Toyota is going to be putting auto plants all over the United States to the tune of over $10 billion. So that's Toyota. So go out and buy a Toyota. And that's a lot to do with, because right now we have all the AI plants. We have so many things happening in the United States. And it's because of November 5th, Election Day, but it's also because of tariffs.
President Trump, once again, securing more money for America, securing more investments in the country. This trip is proving very, very fruitful. You have many Democrats out there, and they're highlighting his dance in Malaysia. They're like, the government's shut down. And President Trump is dancing on the tarmac in Malaysia. Did you see that, by the way? It was a good dance. Looks slick. But he's not just going there to dance. I mean, this is Trump derangement syndrome at its highest level. He went to Malaysia to sign a peace deal and trade agreements with Thailand, Malaysia, Cambodia. Then he goes to Japan, and he secures more investments in America to the tune of $550 billion. Toyota is going to be coming over here, building plants. Well, he's dancing on the tarmac in Malaysia. This isn't very presidential. We have a government shutdown, you know. Yeah, and the guy running the show is still working. You can't say as much about the Democrats. I mean, unless you consider work going on cable news and being and moaning. By all means, they're doing a heck of a job. But it's just not the reality. The Prime Minister, Takeshi Sine, she was very excited to be with President Trump. She actually joined him on stage at that military base on the USS George Washington, and she was downright giddy to be behind the president on stage. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll see all the video that goes along with this. She was like essentially jumping up and down with an ear-to-ear grin that you couldn't wipe off if you tried.
To say this, the first female Prime Minister in the history of Japan. Madam Prime Minister, please say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you all. 通訳。本日、米国の海軍創設250周年。
Clearly, she said Trump is the best president ever. We don't need a translator for that. We deduce that ourselves because we're astute. We're reading body language. She was very excited to be with the president. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you saw her jumping up and down, just cheesy grin, ear to ear. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. President Trump is crushing it on this Asia trip. He is securing good relationships with great allies, putting himself in a position of strength as he goes for the big meeting with Xi Jinping, which will take place here in a couple days. We'll be keeping you updated on all that. Right now, China is saying that they've scored a victory with their provisional trade deal. Listen, I'm fine with China being able to frame it as a victory. Let's get a deal done. I think that you're going to see Donald Trump frame it as a victory. That's a good thing. That's okay. That's okay. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Everybody needs health insurance. We understand that, but it shouldn't be a prerequisite that it comes with confusing percentages, surprise bills, and fine print that bites back. It seems like so often that's the case, but Cover Nash doesn't want to make it that way forever. They want to make it simple. Cover Nash actually has a brand new nationwide PPO plan that gives you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. I'm not channeling Obama. I'm actually being honest, with no referrals and no red tape. Just a $250 deductible, a flat $50 copay for doctor visits, even specialists, outpatient surgeries, $250 copay, hospital stays, just $1,000 total, free preventative care, colonoscopies, mammograms, physicals, because it is ACA compliant. And here's the kicker: no surprise bills, no hidden fees, just real protection from real providers. Now, if that's not the right plan for you, Shane Ring and Cover Nash work with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, and they'll find something that fits your budget and your needs. All you need to do, though, is pick up the phone. If I'm a betting man, Shane Ring is at his desk right now, willing to take your call. 615-465-0023, 615-465-0023, or learn more online, covernash.com.
This is massive. This is Armenia and Azerbaijan. This is nearly 4 decades of fighting in the region. Both leaders of each nation are coming here to the White House.
For more than 35 years, Armenia and Azerbaijan have fought a bitter conflict that resulted in tremendous suffering for both nations. They suffered gravely for so many years. Many tried to find a resolution, including the European Union. The Russians worked very hard on it, never happened. Sleepy Joe Biden tried, but you know what happened there? He tried for probably 12 minutes and didn't work out.
Have you seen this done with any other president, the way he's leveraging the economy and trade?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is 7 peace deals in 7 months, and it's unbelievable. I mean, President Trump is the only guy who can come together and do it. He can do it right.
trade deal with China be near? President Trump thinks so. And it's not candy, but it looks like candy. What police are concerned about this Halloween season. All of that and more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Is it meth?
It is. No, it is not meth.
Okay.
Jeez.
Well, crystal meth, rock candy.
Well, okay.
Anybody could make that mistake.
I guess if you know what it looks like, you could make that mistake.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen crystal meth. Have you ever seen crystal meth in person?
No.
No? Just Breaking Bad.
Right.
What was it on Breaking Bad? Was it the Blue Magic?
Yeah, it's like
or am I doing American Gangster?
No, it's Blue Magic, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was they said it was like a blue raspberry candy on set. And one of my favorite scenes from that, or clips from that, is the guy who plays Jesse, Aaron, looks at Walter White and goes, "You need to try it," like in between scenes. He was like, "No, a cook doesn't ever try his product." I was like, he's like, no, it's candy. So that was funny.
No, you can't do that.
You can't do it.
Well, China, they're taking a victory lap on a provisional trade deal. At least that's what Chinese state media is saying. Would you expect them to say any less? I think that would be my question. I wouldn't. And listen, if they can frame this as a win, this could still be a win for America. Chinese state media ran a few victory laps on Sunday and Monday after news that U.S. and Chinese negotiators reached a provisional trade agreement after 2 days of talks in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The essence of a China-U.S. economic and trade relations is mutual benefit and win-win results, and the two countries gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation, Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng said after participating in the Kuala Lumpur talks on Saturday and Sunday. The U.S. team included Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Bessent said on Sunday that a framework was established and then for the scheduled meeting between Trump and Xi Jinping in South Korea on Thursday, Bessent said, "I'm also anticipating that we will get some kind of a deferral on the rare earth export controls that the Chinese had discussed." China has a near monopoly on mining and refining rare earths and other critical minerals, a stranglehold Beijing is not shy about using as leverage for its political ends. China also uses its control over the mineral supply to manipulate prices and block efforts from other countries to break its monopoly. China's state-run Global Times on Sunday applauded the Kuala Lumpur talks as candid, in-depth, and constructive exchanges on views of important trade and economic issues and of mutual concerns, including tariffs, shipbuilding, fentanyl trafficking, agriculture, and export controls. These are still early reports that we're getting out of this. We're not going to know anything for sure until the coming days when we do eventually have that sit down in South Korea on Thursday between President Trump and Xi Jinping. I will say this, though. It does seem like we're close. It seems like we're close to a trade deal on some playing field. Whether it's good for America or better for China, yet to be seen. But when Chinese state-run media is saying, we won, that doesn't necessarily mean they won. But it does signal that we're closer to a deal than the so-called experts may want you to believe. It's 9:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. President Trump says the U.S. and China have agreed to a framework for a trade deal.
More than 6 months after he launched his trade war with China, President Trump now says a deal could be at hand.
But nothing has been agreed to yet. But we feel good. I mean, we feel good.
The administration says they've reached the framework of an agreement that covers fentanyl and tariffs and includes a pledge by China to resume buying American agriculture like soybeans and to loosen restrictions on their sale of rare earth minerals, critical for making smartphones and cars.
That's ABC News correspondent Rachel Scott. Closer to home, the federal suit that was filed by Nashville Rep. Justin Jones against his Republican colleagues has been tossed out by a federal judge. WSMV4's Tracy Cornett.
Jones filed a lawsuit in 2023 after he was expelled from the chamber with Representatives Justin Pearson and Gloria Johnson. He claimed that was a violation of his First and 14th Amendment rights.
The judge dismissing every single count, saying for the most part that Justin Jones didn't have standing. Well, here comes Halloween, and there are warnings for parents to look out for THC edibles that look like candy. Michigan Police Lieutenant John Gajewski.
Look for unusual symbols, unusual odors, anything that may indicate this isn't normal. And if you're a child and you're not sure what you have, go to an adult.
In California, several third graders became sick after eating these candies. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Back pain, neck pain, knee pain, ruining your life. What if I told you just $12 can get you back to a pain-free life? It is not a hoax. I guarantee it. This is the real deal. It's from the Wellness Institute of Nashville. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special. And just $12 is going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are going to get you back to a pain-free life starting at just $12. These guys are the best. People say all the time, why didn't I come here first? They say, why don't other doctors explain things the way you guys do? Well, because what they do at the Wellness Institute is different. It's special. At most doctors, you're going to get a few options. Like, how about surgery? How about a painful injection? How about opioids? How about no? How about we get rid of the back pain, the neck pain, the sciatica, the numbness, the bulging discs with non-surgical spinal decompression? Robot lasers or anti-gravity machines. That's how the Wellness Institute of Nashville is going to fix it for you, and they're going to do it for just $12. So grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com. Should kids be on this platform, period?
No, it's not worth it. It's only going to create headaches for you.
Roblox itself, it is a predator haven. There are games on Roblox like XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator. That's about 7 million visits, and the whole premise of the game is showering together with kids.
It's basically open season for sex predators on this app. For this reason and all of the others that we've talked about today, Roblox is violating Louisiana law.
If you join it, you're going to see predators, you're going to see naked avatars, you're going to see people peeing and all this sort of weird stuff. If I was a parent and I saw that, I would be outraged. I would be totally outraged. And parents aren't aware of this.
Because there is so much content and it's so difficult to monitor, and there's, 40% of their users are under the age of 13. Of course, it's a place where predators have learned how to network and gather and groom children.
I'm Pastor Alan Jackson. I'm excited to invite you to join me for my brand new show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8, I'll be talking about the week's news and headlines, but through a biblical lens. Together, we'll look at what's happening in our world and how God's Word can guide us through it. Join me, Pastor Alan Jackson, Sunday evenings at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And you can listen on iHeartRadio and tune in.
$9:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube. Those are the big ones. Hit like, hit subscribe. Every digital platform has a share button. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. Don't underestimate your own influence. Share it on your profile. We really appreciate when you do so. Even if you don't like this show, it helps everybody else. So please hit like and hit share.
We appreciate it.
If you were listening on the radio, you heard Stefano Di Pietro. He's talking about trick-or-treating on Friday night.
Yep.
He said it's going to be nice for the kids.
It's going to be nice?
Is that what he said?
Yep, that's what he said.
Consider me old school. I think cold and rain is the perfect trick-or-treating weather. Like the kind of cold rain where you say, Mom, Dad, can you drive us? And we say no. that kind of cold rain. You know, the rain where it's like, take your costume off in the garage.
Just drenched.
Oh, man. We're going to have to call into school tomorrow. You know, that kind of.
Yeah, I'm used to Halloween being, it's still 80 degrees outside plus, and we're walking around in full body costumes.
Yeah, I never got that growing up.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Growing up in Massachusetts, it was cold. It was downright frigid. These kids are spoiled.
Yeah, it's supposed to be chilly and no rain. All the rain's coming out earlier this week. What's wrong?
I don't know. I've liked the rain.
I've enjoyed it. It's been a nice reprieve.
I lived in Michigan and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for like 4 years total between the two spots. And it's like you'd go through like 6 months of just rain there. And I've grown to miss it. So we get these gray days and I'm like, oh, this is nice.
The days you look forward to.
These are the days.
Gray.
These are the days of my life. So we got a big show. We got a lot to talk about. My friend Josh Tifo, Senior Director for Turning Point USA, is going to be joining us later in the show. Huge announcements coming out of Florida as it pertains to Club America chapters being put in every school. We'll definitely be talking about that. And is Tennessee going to do something like that? I mean, so often we're waiting. It seems like we're waiting to do what Texas and Florida does, and we got to wait. And like we're like the little brother out of all the conservative states. We're like, hey guys, wait for us. We want to come too. It's like, okay, chill, Tennessee. But can we do something like that? I would hope we could. Donald Trump currently on his Asia trip. It's very successful, and I'll tell you how I know it's successful, because leftists are already trying to spin it. And there's a video that's been going viral on leftist Twitter and on Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky, by the way. I'm on all the social media platforms that matter, at Chris Hand on Air. Blue Sky, I'm just there for a little bit of trolling. And it's only from time to time. But I find myself going to the mid-level Democrats and trolling. But the video has been going viral. It's been going viral on Blue Sky and on leftist Twitter and all these places. And they say that Donald Trump is being led around by the hand of the Japanese prime minister. Now, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll see the video. I mean, there's a little music in the background. It's so regal. The pomp, the circumstance. And Trump stops, and he's just admiring the music that's being played as he's led around the room to what looks like different stations. And they're saying that this is clear evidence, this 21-second clip, that Donald Trump and his mental faculties are waning. And I chuckled to myself, because the guy just brought home $550 billion in investments from Japan. See, the thing with Biden, when he would be led around or get lost or crap his pants, all things have happened. I'm pretty sure on the crapping the pants. I mean, he was with the Pope, and like you come in wearing one set of pants and then you leave for a little bit and you come back with a different set of pants. I'm hard-pressed to think anything else could have happened. But we would see these videos of Joe Biden, and we would go, well, that's messed up. He's calling out for Shenga Kawawa and trying to shake hands with dead people. Remember that? Do you remember that?
And Joan Shengang, I'm going to pronounce it, Shenga Kawawa.
No moments like that for Donald Trump on the Asia trip.
Come on, man.
None like that so far. So we'd have these moments so often with Joe Biden where he would be lost. He would crap his pants. He would look like a doddering old man with memory issues. Special Counsel Robert Er's words, not mine. And we would all point them out. And we would say, what the hell is this? The resident in chief. How are we letting Weekend at Bernie's happen on the biggest stage of them all? And we were right to call that out. Now, the left is using a similar playbook. But they're taking these clips out of context, and if you watch the entire clip, which is readily available. It's about a minute and a half on the internet. And if you take the time to watch it, it's President Trump and the Prime Minister of Japan, and they're working their way around this room with all these different musical stations, and nobody's leading the president anywhere. It's just not the situation. But that's how you know that this has been a successful trip so far. That the only thing that the left can say about it negatively is we can take a clip out of context and post it on the internet and say, what is this? Oh my gosh. But when you watch the full clip in context, I mean, there's nothing wrong, weird, strange. You have the Prime Minister talking about what they're looking at and pointing at the guys playing instruments. I'm at a loss. It's a big leftist account, ACYN, ACYN. Trump being guided through the room by the Japanese Prime Minister. Trump being guided through a room by the This is not Joe Biden getting grabbed by his wrist by Barack Obama and led off stage. This is not Joe Biden forgetting which way to go for the stairs when there's only one set of stairs that you just walked in on 15 minutes ago. It's not that at all, but this is what they're trying to pull. The Rapid Response 47 account on X said, "Why don't you share the full video, dumbass?" Why don't you? Because that would destroy the narrative. They know that. They all know that. The trade deals, historic. The peace deals, historic. The tariffs, believe it or not, they're working. I know. Legendary economist, former PIMCO CEO and economist Mohammed El-Arian. He was on Fox News yesterday, and he was talking about just what Trump has been able to do, not just on the East Asia trip, but just when it comes to trade as a whole.
500, a snapshot of the broader market, above 6,800. This would be the first time ever that the S&P 500 closed above 6,800. So the markets are watching this very clearly.
And the markets are rallying, make no mistake about it, because of the hope of a China-U.S. deal, which both sides are signaling is basically here.
Upcoming meeting. I mean, you're talking about the two largest economies in the world, Mohammed. I mean, what's at stake here?
A lot. And I think if you look more broadly, what the U.S. has achieved on tariffs was something that most economists didn't think was going to happen. We thought that there would be massive retaliation against the U.S. There hasn't been. Europe, the UK, a number of Asian countries have all signed framework agreements. The only outstanding ones are India, Canada, and China, and there's clear progress on China. Secondly, we're collecting a lot of tariff revenues. On an annual basis, we're now looking at $300 billion of tariff revenues. Third, the impact on inflation has been limited. So if you look at what people have been worried about, the U.S. has gotten to a fairer trading system without the disadvantages that people thought would materialize. Now, it's early days, so one has to consolidate these gains, but it's a different outcome from where many economists, including me, thought we would be.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Listen, this guy's saying, I thought we were going to go the other way. I was wrong. It takes a lot of humility to get on TV and say I was wrong. Props to that guy. Where are the other economists? No. Is it wrong to think that Trump was right? If that's wrong, I don't want to be right. So there's that. And yet all the leftists can do is spin a 20-second clip of Donald Trump, the Japanese Prime Minister. That's how you know that this has been a successful trip so far. They have nothing else to go on. They're grasping at straws. Jasmine Crockett was on CNN last night, and she didn't even bring up the Asia trip. That wasn't even a topic of conversation. She went back to the last hoax. She didn't get the updated talking points from the being led by the Japanese Prime Minister hoax yet. Those hadn't been faxed through. So she was on the last hoax, which is that the main priority for Donald Trump is the big, beautiful ballroom, which Caroline Leavitt was asked about his main construction priority, which we all know because we covered that hoax extensively. Jasmine Crockett has not received the updated talking points.
Do you believe this will be the week that Congress comes to an agreement here?
I have no idea. I mean, you started off talking about the fact that the president is in Japan. The president has time to do everything but what he needs to focus on. In fact, we heard the press secretary say that his main priority is the ballroom that no one asked for, the ballroom that requires him to destroy historic pieces of the White House. And so it doesn't seem like he's interested.
And that context of the comment from Caroline Leavitt, she was asked if the president was working on any other renovations when it came to the White House, and she was saying his focus was the ballroom. But to your...
It's got to be, things are bad when Caitlin Collins is fact-checking Jasmine Crockett on live TV, right? Things are bad. And then she says, oh, he's over in Asia when he could be doing work at home. Oh, I'm sorry. Do we need the president's vote to reopen the government? Is that what we need? No, we need the Democrats to stop being insane, reopen the government, so we're not looking at this no-snap November. We can get the women and the kids fed and get back to business, and then we can negotiate. You don't need the president for that. And she just glazes by the Asia trip. Let's not talk about the $550 billion investment from Japan. Let's not talk about the peace deals. Let's not talk about the trade agreements that we got with Cambodia and Thailand and Malaysia. No. Let's frame this as the president is avoiding doing work. Again, this isn't Biden in Rehoboth Beach. It's just not. These two things are not the same. Biden spent a third of his presidency on vacation. And you're going to say, the president has work that he should be doing here at home. Did you see him dancing on the tarmac in Malaysia? Oh, so unprecedented. He's securing peace. He's securing investments. And the guy's unstoppable. Jasmine Crockett, she says his main focus is the ballroom. No, it's not. See, the thing that they don't understand is Trump can walk and chew gum at the same time. So he can talk to a contractor about the ballroom, and then he can talk to a world leader about peace, and then he can talk to another world leader about trade. And then he can talk to the Democrats and say, open the government and stop being losers. Only one of those people that the president's talking to won't listen to him. You can figure out which one. You're good. Jasmine Crockett has her own issues, by the way. Huge issues. New report coming out, and this was published by the Washington Free Beacon on Monday. I mean, I don't even know if this is a big report. It actually feels rather on brand for Jasmine Crockett, but she hid some stock holdings. Is that so? Well, what per se did she have stock in? Pharmaceuticals, fossil fuels. What? I thought we had to worry about the sea levels and the smelt fish, no? And you know what else she had stock holdings in? Marijuana companies. Again, I said on brand. It's as on brand as it gets for Jasmine Crockett. Radical leftist rep, this is how Breitbart puts the story. Radical left rep Jasmine Crockett, Democrat out of Texas, reportedly had a secret stock portfolio and tried to delve into the marijuana business. And do you think she used her hood accent when she was buying the marijuana stocks? Asking for a friend. In an article for the Washington Free Beacon published Monday, Andrew Kerr shared more information on Crockett's apparently shady business dealings. The report said Crockett owned stocks in at least 25 companies that she did not disclose to the public during her first congressional run in 2022, even though she quietly admitted to the holdings the previous year as a Texas state legislator, adding she did not disclose the stock holdings when she got to Washington. The Beacon said it found the information via a public records request. The report continued, further, Crockett, a self-described civil rights attorney, was an active stakeholder in the cannabis business, seeking unsuccessfully to open marijuana dispensaries in Ohio, even as she represented, as a defense lawyer, a man accused of murdering someone in a marijuana deal gone bad. Both the Texas State House and in Congress, Crockett has pushed bills to decriminalize marijuana. In September, Crockett claimed that just because people commit crimes, that doesn't make them a criminal, because it just depends on the person's mindset. Meanwhile, the Beacon reported that Crockett has said she supports herself and has never been married. She also reportedly has stakes in corporations that stood to benefit from actions she's taken as a lawmaker and legislation she's introduced to Congress, and others that stand in opposition to the image she's cultivated as a champion of green energy. So the accusations is that this Democrat is a hypocrite. That's not a career ender. Crockett also had 25 undisclosed stocks with shares in companies that included Amazon, AstraZeneca, General Motors, ExxonMobil, Aurora Cannabis, and Ford, the Beacon said, while citing public records. When it came to the weed issue, Crockett wrote in a 2021 social media post that cannabis reform is a joint effort. Nice. Representatives from both parties have filed some great bills that would reduce penalties for possession and expand the Texas Compassionate Use Program. But don't forget, our goal is full recreational and medical cannabis, she wrote. It's important to note that Crockett has long criticized Donald Trump, who called her and other leftist Democrats political hacks who should undergo cognitive exams, according to Breitbart News. We got a lot more on the way. We're going to talk about the government shutdown. Mike Johnson finding a podium this morning. He's pissed. The squad he's rolling with also pissed. They want the government back open. We'll bring you the latest audio from those guys. Plus, we'll talk a little bit more about the government shutdown as we head into week number 4. We're heading towards week number 4, barreling in. Breakneck pace. We'll talk about all that and more. Plus, Donald Trump had CNN losing their minds when he said he'd be good to go for a third term. I like it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm a huge fan of a little bit of trolling. It's 9:53. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Dan over at Cabinet Makeovers. Dan has made me the best husband in Murfreesboro because we invested in our kitchen, and my wife loves the new pull-out cabinets. The kids love them, too, full disclosure. We have a brand new pull-out pantry. So, like, all the snacks are easy to get, which is nice until you've said, guys, no more snacks. And it's like, but Dad, they're right here. It's like, all right, one more. That's it. But the guys at Cabinet Makeovers made all this happen. The cabinets are unbelievable. Family-owned company. Serve in Middle Tennessee for over 45 years. Everything that they've installed in my home and they can install in yours is Tennessee-made. Every cabinet, pull-out, drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft close glides, and the craftsmanship is unbelievable. Now, what really makes them special is the people that they have working for me. See, Dan came into my home, and he let this be turned into a homeschool lesson. Kids are turning screwdrivers. They're talking about the Bible. They're talking about Jesus, and my family loved it. We love the cabinets, too. You're going to love them as well. They don't just stop at kitchens. They do custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every room in your house, all built with the same Tennessee pride and biblical values that guide their business. So do what I did. Call Cabinet Makeovers today, 615-331-7010, 615-331-7010, or see pictures of their work online, cabinetmakeoverstn.com.
Why am I so happy and so excited that Jimmy Kimmel lied to his audience?
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points.
I'm excited because the liberal and the legacy media have been lying about Republicans for years, and people like this are finally taking notice.
I didn't think much of the death because from what I had heard, Charlie Kirk had been a neo-Nazi who wanted me to be dead. He didn't support my existence and whatnot. And now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I feel like I had been lied to. I really took some time after the, thing happened to kind of look into his videos, look into his beliefs, look into his thoughts and who he was as a person. And to me, he seemed like a well-mannered family man. He believed in the country. He believed in the greater good of the country. He had his own political beliefs and opinions. And sure, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with him on, but I never would stand for him dying or being murdered because of his beliefs. And I think I may be starting to lean a lot farther right in response to everything that's taken place.
Remember last week with the Tylenol stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Britain, they came out and they said, don't listen to anything Trump says. You remember that?
Don't listen.
Don't listen to the orange man. Tylenol's totally safe. And then we were like, well, should we listen to Tylenol? Because they said don't take it while pregnant.
Yeah, they said that a while ago, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I've come to a new conclusion. We don't need to listen to anything the British government says, which leads me to this headline. First cousin marriage has benefits, says NHS guidance, despite birth defect risk. First cousin marriage is linked to stronger extended family support systems and economic advantages. It's a strong family. Now, it's important to point out the real reason that they're doing this is because they've been culturally invaded by Muslims. I know. Listen, it's uncomfortable. People don't want to talk about it, but we'll talk about it. Diversity is our strength. Yikes.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. As the government shutdown reaches day 28, questions are being raised about whether federal contingency funds can be used to help those who need food assistance. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the administration's hands are tied when it comes to using those funds.
The reason is because it's a finite source of funds. It was appropriated by Congress. And if they transfer funds from these other sources, it pulls it away immediately from school meals and infant formula.
The USDA website published Saturday says the well has run dry, and the Senate Democrats are responsible for the department's decision not to send out benefits starting November 1st. Metro Council member Joy Kimbrough cleared of an ethics violation. She had been accused of asking a developer for $500,000 in exchange for political support for his project. After more than 8 hours of testimony yesterday, Kimbrough was cleared. She insisted she never demanded any money from the developer. Get ready for more changes at Nashville International Airport. There's another big expansion about to kick off. And a second terminal is being added now on the south side of that airport. The announcement coming in a video featuring, of course, Trace Adkins.
Proudly become our airport.
The new terminal will have 5 concourses and multiple parking garages. They say because of its location, they'll build it without disrupting current traffic patterns. The Tennessee Department of Corrections is hitting the road on Halloween night, checking on sex offenders whose convictions involve children. TDOC says that the Operation Blackout involves making sure these sex offenders understand they can't answer the door to trick-or-treaters or even turn on the front porch light. They're not allowed to wear costumes or host a party, and they can't do fall activities like corn mazes, haunted houses, or hay rides. There are 26,000 registered sex offenders in Tennessee. And better change your passwords. An Australian security researcher says a stolen trove of 3.5 terabytes of data has surfaced online. In it, more than 183 million email passwords, including tens of millions linked to Gmail accounts, Yahoo, and Outlook. Cybersecurity analysts say this is one of the biggest credential dumps ever uncovered. They say turn on two-step verification and adopt passkeys as a safer alternative to passwords. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
If you didn't have the gig that you have and you're not at the White House, you're not the reporter, would you raise a family in that area?
Absolutely not.
And either they're going to straighten their act out in terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
It's brutal out here. It can be really, really tough. I don't live in D.C. proper anymore because it's just gotten kind of out of control. It's gotten dirtier, it's gotten more crowded, and a lot more violence, as you just alluded to. But my first year living here, I was seeing a lot of that, and it grew very quickly. So I moved here, I would say, in 2023. By the time I moved out after a year, it got really crowded. It got really messy. I remember getting emails from my apartment complex saying that there was a shooting just across the street, and it was maybe every other weekend. And I was saying, what decision did I make to even live here? I mean, obviously close proximity to the White House, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
But wow, what a difference a year makes under, a leadership that doesn't really care that much about crime.
It's 10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got Mason Fleming producing. He's crushing it, as always.
Trying.
Joan Jones back in the newsroom, just delivering the best headlines.
I want to crush it, too.
You are. Okay. I almost said it, and then I felt like I had to say something different. just to be fair. Hey, your story about Halloween.
Yeah.
Are they, so they're going around and they're making sure people stay inside. Are they looking for volunteers?
Oh. No, I don't think so, Chris.
Because listen, I can be pretty convincing. You better not come outside.
Get back.
I'm going to be waiting out here all night, and if I see any lights on, I don't even want to see the glow of your TV. You listen to the radio tonight.
Keep your phone brightness on low.
Better dim that phone. No flashlights. I'm just, I'd be willing to help.
Yeah, it's very nice of you. But I think they
got it
handled. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me know if anything changes.
Okay.
Thank you, John. I feel like I do a good job.
I think you kill it.
I would be crushing it, like Joan in the headlines.
It's pretty good.
So while Donald Trump is securing wins across Asia, the Democrats are revealing chinks in their armor at home. Yeah, that's what's happening. It's a mess. Chuck Schumer was basically crying on the floor yesterday because Trump is dancing in Malaysia. How could he?
Oh, no.
That monster. Chuck Schumer, literally. So, yes, Donald Trump had got a hero's welcome in Malaysia, right? And they were doing what I can only assume is the classic Malaysia dance. It's just, it looked very festive. You had all the people in their cultural wear, and they're doing their dance. And Trump stops. He admires for a moment. Then he hits him with the Trump dance, and everybody loved it. Everybody except Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer says that no government official is allowed to have any fun while the government is shut down, and he was very upset about this yesterday. Oh, hang on. I got too many things running at once. What in the world? It's embarrassing. I'll be honest with you. Not as embarrassing as Chuck Schumer, but it's up there. This is Chuck Schumer yesterday.
Days away. Starting this Saturday, tens of millions of Americans face the specter of financial crisis, all while Donald Trump is dancing on the tarmac in Malaysia. Donald Trump may be having a nice time abroad, but people here at home are dreading open enrollment.
Oh, I mean, so sad. Again, President, they could vote today to open up the government while President Trump is in Asia. You understand this, right? President Trump doesn't need to be here in America for the government to be reopened. So old Chucky here, he's burying the lead. The lead is that the Democrats are not voting to open up the government. And people are getting pretty frustrated with old Chucky. Meanwhile, Donald Trump isn't just having a good time in Asia. He's not just dancing on the tarmacs. He's securing peace deals and trade deals. $550 billion coming in from Japan yesterday. I'm sorry. I thought that was a good thing. I know this didn't happen much under Joe Biden, and we're kind of getting used to it under Trump, but these are still historic deals. How could he do such a thing? The monster. He's Donald Trump. While people are staring down, losing their SNAP benefits, and families are going to go hungry, Donald Trump is bringing jobs back to America. Those monsters. How could they? How could they? I actually saw this video. This guy. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm not going to lie. American guy. Just so happens to be black. He says, I don't care who gets mad about this.
I'm just going to say it, and I don't care who get mad. Shouldn't no grown-ass, able-bodied people be freaking out about no food stamps. If you got 2 legs, 2 arms, you can get up and talk on the phone. You can get up and take your behind to work.
Thank you. That concludes today's public service announcement. I like that guy. I like it. Based.
Just straight to the point.
Honestly. There's some parts of me that I do feel sympathetic. I'm not going to lie to you. There's other parts of me that don't feel sympathetic at all. It's a mixed bag. It's a nuanced conversation, but one that wouldn't be a conversation at all if the Democrats would vote to reopen the government. Chuck Schumer knows that. Chuck Schumer is worried about being primaried. He's worried about losing his gig. Hakeem Jeffries, too, to a lesser extent, although he has a promising future as a sombrero salesman. I will tell you that. But Schumer, what does he do after this? Nothing. And right now, the fundraising for Chucky is slowing down, which is a huge red flag that he's going to be primaried, that he's open to attacks. New York Post has it like this. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has raised a fraction of his typical money haul over the last quarter, leaving him open to attacks from leftist insurgents in his own party. You know why this is really bad? I'll tell you why. Do you know when the easiest time to fundraise is? I'm just going to be honest with you. The easiest time to fundraise is when you have an enemy. When you're not in power. That's the easiest. It's really hard to fundraise when you have all the reins of power and you're not fighting for anything. That's just the reality of fundraising. So if you can't fundraise right now while Donald Trump is ruining democracy and becoming the authoritarian tyrant king we all feared he would be, you have a massive problem, my friend. Massive. Federal Election Commission's filings show the 5-term senator's receipts slowed to a relative trickle over the last 3 months, raising questions about the 74-year-old's future in the party in the throes of a far-left youth movement. I feel like any 74-year-old in government should be thinking about their future in the party, regardless of which party it is. That's just me. And I understand that there are some older guys in the government that are doing a great job. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I agree with that. But in 2025, I have a hard time bending the knee to political leaders who don't know how to operate an Instagram account. And I know it might sound like basic, but this, like, if you can't operate your iPhone, you shouldn't be in government. If your font is on a two times size, maybe serving the people is not right for you. That's just me. Chuck Schumer, 74 years old. The Brooklyn Democrat brought in just $133,000 during the 3 months ending September 30th, while facing a potential primary challenge from AOC, who raised $4.5 million during the last quarter for her House reelection campaign. That's a big difference. That is a big difference. So, I mean, I don't know what Chuck does. I think at a certain point he's going to have to bend the knee and he's going to have to reopen the government, especially as the calls are getting louder to do so. One of the biggest unions in the country, the largest federal workers union, has called for an end to the government shutdown. These guys are as leftist as they come. They're called the American Federation of Government Employees. And they said on Monday there is no clear end in sight and demanded that a clean CR be passed. What's that you say? the biggest union of government workers is calling for a clean CR. That's crazy. That's crazy. This was, this was released yesterday. It is the AFGE national president, Everett Kelly, and he writes on the AFGE.org website, this week, Congress pushed our nation into the fourth week of a full government shutdown, an avoidable crisis that is harming families, communities, and the very institutions that hold our country together. Both political parties have made their point, and there's still no clear end in sight. Today, I'm making mine. It's time to pass a clean CR and end this shutdown today. No half measures, no gamesmanship. Put every single federal worker back on the job with full back pay today. As president of the American Federation of Government Employees, I represent over 800,000 federal and D.C. government workers who serve with pride and professionalism. I guarantee you that's 90% Democrat. Guaranteed. They ensure our skies are safe, our veterans receive care, our borders are protected, and our food is inspected. They come from every political background and every corner of this nation. What unites them is a simple belief that service to this country is honorable work. Today, that belief is being tested. The Army nurse in San Antonio, the TSA officer in Atlanta, the USDA safety inspector in Iowa, and hundreds of thousands more like them are being asked to keep the country running without paychecks to keep their own households afloat. These are patriotic Americans, parents, caregivers, and veterans forced to work without pay while struggling to cover rent, groceries, gas, and medicine because of political disagreements in Washington. That is unacceptable, and he goes on to call for them to pass a clean CR. He goes on to tell them to do what the Republicans have been saying to do all along. Let's pass the CR, and then let's sit down and let's talk. The Democrats are in a hard spot here. They are. And they're doing their best. Newsom yesterday he tried to dunk on Secretary Duffy because LAX and other airports slow down as this federal shutdown hits air traffic control. Governor Newsom, his press office account, that's their trolling account on Twitter. So it's Gov Press Office, said they quote tweeted a story from KTLA, which is a local, I think, ABC affiliate in Los Angeles. Said breaking a staffing shortage in Southern California's airspace triggered a ground stop affecting Los Angeles International Airport flights on Sunday morning, the FAA said. Governor Newsom's press office quote tweeted, said, hell of a job, Secretary Duffy. Can't wait to see what you do with NASA. And it's like, you think you're dunking on him, but it's the Democrats that are making this continue. Are we just going to ignore that point? Governor Newsom's a mess. Part of me wonders if we should just not give him any kind of attention at all. But Chuck Schumer's in a tough spot. He's got defenders like Gavin Newsom, who are going to put the party over everything. But you got Democrat voters who aren't happy with him. There was a Democrat voter that called into C-SPAN the other day, and I love the C-SPAN call-in shows. I really do. And this Democrat retired federal worker called in and just let Chuck Schumer have it.
I'm, a retired federal worker, and I hear people talking about, the president needs to get involved, and the Democrats are saying this, and Republicans are saying this. This is the truth. The Democrats, and I'm a Democrat, are the ones that actually, in the Senate side, shut down the government. They did not vote for a continuing resolution except for 3 of them. One is the senator of Pennsylvania, Fetterman, and all. So they have to get together and stop holding an American hostage. We're about to have people without food come, November 1st, which is the end of this week. And that's ridiculous.
She's right.
It is not worth it. Plus, the health care companies have already said you're way past the deadline for them to change their costs that they're going to give out to the public for the health care. So November 1st is open season. So they need to get together. I know they keep on saying the president needs to come back, but the power of the purse is with the Congress, not the president. You all talk about this president being a king, but if you want him to solve this problem, you're making him a king.
Thank you. I mean, this Democrat caller into C-SPAN highlights the point I made. Yeah, the president doesn't need to be in America to end the government shutdown. The Democrats could end the government shutdown today. You have air traffic controllers. They have officially missed their first paycheck. Onward to the military, onward to SNAP benefits, unless the Democrats decide to reopen the government. Even MSNBC last night were sounding the alarm that Democrats and Chuck Schumer are taking a huge blame for this federal shutdown. And I've been saying this for a while, and I would get texts from people and be like, well, I don't know about that. Are you sure? I think 100% the Democrats are taking blame for this. And last night, MSNBC, of all places, echoed my same points.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very dramatic call from that union of federal employees representing hundreds of thousands with a statement today saying, among other things, that it's time for our leaders to start focusing on how to solve problems for the American people rather than on who is going to get the blame for a shutdown that Americans dislike. Because when the folks who serve this country are standing in line for food banks after missing a second paycheck because of this shutdown, they aren't looking for partisan spin. They're looking for wages that they earned. They go on to essentially say that Congress needs to pass, in their view, a clean CR. Now, when Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about this today, he certainly kind of leaned into this. In fact, we saw several top Republicans on the House side take advantage of this statement and basically point to it, saying, Democrats, the ball is in your court now, whether or not you decide to act on this. Johnson saying, I certainly hope this is a turning point in the shutdown, noting that this is a union, after all, that is weighing in this sort of way, and saying that this shutdown is a charade. Now, of course, at the same time, I have in recent weeks spoken to Democrats representing districts with heavy populations of federal employees, and their message that they say they've been receiving from federal workers was keep up the fight, that health care is the fight worth having, that it is an important time to push back on the Trump administration. Of course, as this continues to drag out, as we see federal employees now missing paychecks, will that start to change? We shall see this week when lawmakers start to return. The Senate.
I think it's going to change everything. And while the fight continues for the Democrats to continue funding health care for illegal aliens, because that's what they want, we're getting new reports about the illegal aliens who we're funding the health care of. Breitbart had a wild story about this. Illegal aliens receiving taxpayer-funded health benefits, convicted of, normal things, sex crimes, attempted murder, child sex crimes. I'm going to bring you this story when we get back. Just a handful of illegal aliens receiving, $230,000 in taxpayer-funded health benefits. This is what the Democrats are fighting for. They're not fighting for you. They're certainly not fighting for me. They're fighting for the newcomers. It's 1022. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. I call them all the time now, and they answer the phone. They say, hey, Chris. That's kind of embarrassing. But last night we had a baseball game in the rain. So it was really like the muddiest baseball game of all time. And now I'm starting to think, can Zero Res do cars? And I'm sure that they can. I'm sure they can. But they're going to need to tackle the carpet in the living room first, because when we got home, do you think the boys took the cleats off before they came inside? No. Of course not. So the wife said, call Zero Res tomorrow. I said, yes, ma'am. They use their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals. And then she said, stop, you don't have to pitch me. I'm already good with you calling them. I said, no, I have to keep going. It means your carpets aren't going to look insanely clean. They're going to stay clean longer. She said, Chris, enough. And I said, the kids are going to be able to sprawl out, Virginia. We're not going to have to worry about what's in the fibers. And she said, Chris, I've heard the commercial. And I said, well, I'm calling Zero Res right now. And then you know what I said to her? I said, $45, any room in the house. She said, I'm going to kill you. I said, you love me. She said, I know. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376. ZeroResNashville.com. Are Democrats waking up to the fact that 80-20 issues aren't exactly a good look to defend?
To the average person, the murder rate's about life and death. You don't brag about a rising murder rate. And the Democrats are, I agree with you, Mika, they're falling into the trap of defending what's indefensible.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yes, it's a trap. I mean, if it's not a winner politically.
I mean, I think she's right. It is a bit of a trap to root for these 80-20 issues, men and women's sports, boys in girls' locker rooms.
No, that's not 80-20. That's 97-3.
Fair. That's 97-3. But we also have illegal alien gang member, MS-13 members, Kilmar. Democrats defend him. We've seen Democrats rooting for a recession. All these 80-20 issues, and this is what made the Democrats realize it? How long until they forget again? Few hours, tops.
More drone strikes on drug vessels, and the local hunger relief organization sounding the alarm over the shutdown. That and more coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. It's 10:26, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got Mason Fleming producing both sides of the program on the radio side, on the FM dial, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn, and on the video side. Mason also produces the online show on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. The last three don't really matter. YouTube and Rumble are big. Are we up on Rumble? Are we up on Rumble today?
We are up on Rumble today.
Rumble's a janky platform. We love them. I love what they do.
When they're consistent.
But they need to be there. They need to be there because they are a truly free speech platform. I just wish that they would invest on making it a smoother platform for everybody involved. There's a lot of voices that get to be on Rumble that don't get to be anywhere else. One of those voices is Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes. Did you see that he dropped a new interview with Tucker Carlson last night?
No, I didn't.
Dude, it's wild. Here's my thing. And I challenge you to do this over the weekend, okay? Watch the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes interview. And then points aside, because there's a lot of stuff I disagree with Fuentes on. There's a lot of stuff I disagree with Tucker on. I think that they're both talented broadcasters. But that aside, take the conversation that you listened to during that Tucker Fuentes interview and then ask yourself, in a country like ours, America, where we have the First Amendment, we have free speech, ask yourself why it is that Nick's views can't be expressed on YouTube. He doesn't advocate for violence. During the Tucker interview, he explained his positions very, very well. Again, it's not like a cosign, like I agree with his positions. But he's not like a raving lunatic madman. Like I wouldn't put him in the same breath as some of these YouTube streamers or what's his name? Hassan Piker. Is he the one that shocked his dog?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't put him on the same level as that guy. But that guy doesn't get banned from everywhere. So I don't know. I watched the interview last night. I thought it was rather good, but I don't understand why he's still banned on every social media platform. I don't understand why he can't get up and running on YouTube. This isn't something that I would probably even watch for myself. But after watching the interview with Tucker Carlson, it's like even more so. I'm like, okay, why are we limiting this guy's speech? Why? Maybe you have a better answer than I do. 615-737-9986. But I watched that last night, and that was one of my big takeaways. Why is it that we're limiting someone's free speech? Just a thought. On the way, I want to talk about immigration enforcement. Major shakeup underway at ICE to surge deportation numbers. Border Commander Greg Bavino has announced that several officials have been fired, and he's going to be hand-picking the replacement of those fired officials who were not getting the job done. We'll talk about it on the way. It's 10:30, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 10:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The U.S. carrying out more strikes on alleged drug vessels in the Pacific Ocean. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announcing 4 vessels were targeted yesterday and 14 people were killed. Hegseth says there was one survivor from this latest round of strikes, and Mexican authorities were in charge of coordinating a rescue. The U.S. last week ordered the Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group and its accompanying aircraft to the waters around Central and South America, a move designed to ratchet up pressure against the Venezuelan government. Well, this is day 28 of the shutdown, and by this weekend, 48 states say they'll be forced to stop distributing SNAP benefits. That includes Tennessee. Mike Womack is the executive director of Feed America First in Murfreesboro. He tells the Dan Mandis Show they're going to need some help.
Every food bank needs volunteers. Every food bank needs dollars. They have buying power. So for us at Feed America First, it's easy. Go to feedamericafirst.com, hit donate. You can make a massive difference.
And the Feed America First takes donations and distributes the food to food pantries and shelters throughout Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and Kentucky. Well, they'll be wrapping up a training drill at Nashville International Airport within the next hour. You may have noticed the emergency response and heavy smoke there since early this morning. They say it'll be back tomorrow, though, starting at 8 a.m. Officials say no reason to panic. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. We've had some rain, and I want you to check your crawl space and your basement, see if any of that water is getting in the house. If it is, you know who to call. You need to call the guys that have been doing this since 1994. Keeping homes dry, stable, and secure. I'm talking about United Structural Systems. And after you're done checking your basement and your crawl space, just do a walk through the house. Are your floors sagging, cracks showing up in the drywall, doors that aren't shutting right? Those are red flags that you could have foundation issues. A solid foundation is going to be the backbone of a strong home, and when it weakens, the issue is only going to get worse with time. So don't kick the can down the road. Call the best. Call USS. USS uses American-made adjustable steel supports built to last and backed with a transferable warranty. Even if you leave the house, the warranty can stay. That's how confident these guys are that they're going to get the job done right the first time. From I-beams to custom crawl space repairs, they are going to fix it for you quick. When it comes to your home, call the people I trust, United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. Or find them online, USSTN.com.
We've just reached the 2-year mark of the Freddie O'Connell tenure as mayor of the city of Nashville, and one asks oneself, what has he done for this city? Now, look, I've had Freddie on this show, and do I need to tell you yet again that he seems like a nice enough guy? Do I need to? Oh, He seems like a nice enough guy. I'd like to sit down and have a beer with him. You know, my grandma seems like a nice enough lady, but she's dead. I don't want her to be the mayor of Nashville. Just because they're nice people doesn't mean that they're good leaders. Now, Freddie is set to be on this radio show in 3 weeks. November 7th, we have him slated, I think, in the 3 o'clock hour. I was talking to his guy, Alex Apple, about that just several days ago. And we will present all of this to him. Tell me what your accomplishments are as mayor of this city, besides raising taxes, because you've done that twice. Twice.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
.1036 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by my friends over at, well, actually, hold on real quick. I got a text from 3904. 3904 said, Chris, what is the name of the water filtration company you recommend from Smyrna? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Why do we need them?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It just rolls over you.
Yeah, that's a pretty good reason.
Let it roll over you. Betterwater.com. That's a reason. That's a reason. If you get those frogs in the river, you want to put them in that good filtered water.
Good filtered, non-gay.
Let them grow strong.
Yeah.
You know? I don't need the atrazine in there.
No.
No, it's a hard pass. Worth a Google, though. Definitely worth a Google.
So good.
I don't know. After an Alex Jones clip saying, let that roll over you. It's looking on my bingo card for today. And it's making me chuckle. All right, let's get back to stuff that'll make us angry. How about that? Does that sound fair?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I was just joshing. I don't think it'll make you angry.
Oh, I had the dun 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 ready to go.
The Joan dun dun dun?
Always.
We'll just hit it for fun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Major ice shakeup is on the way. We've had up to a dozen field office chiefs being removed and reassigned per Bill Melugin. And Border Commander Greg Bavino, who you may remember from such incidents as cartels putting a hit on him in Chicago, he's going to help pick the replacements of several of those fired officials. Bill Melugin is the top reporter when it comes to all this stuff, and he was breaking it down on Fox News. Border Patrol is going to be more aggressive than ICE. This is a massive move, again, per Bill Melugin. This was the call of the play on Fox.
Move spearheaded by Corey Lewandowski, and it's all in an effort to boost deportation numbers, which are already at more than 500,000 since President Trump took office. So here's what we're talking about. Some of the ICE leadership positions being removed are the heads of ICE here in Los Angeles, in San Diego, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Seattle, El Paso, New Orleans, and Denver, just to name some of them. Now,
is it just me? Do these locations all have something in common? Portland, Los Angeles, San Diego, Phoenix, El Paso, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Denver. Hopelessly blue. Hopelessly blue. And you'd have to ask yourself, did the leadership in these positions elevate their way because they were politicking with the Biden administration? I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I want to ask the question. Bill Malugin continues.
Some of their replacements will be Border Patrol officials hand-selected by Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino, whose aggressive and sometimes controversial tactics to arrest illegal aliens have elevated him within the Trump administration. Now, this is significant because Border Patrol and ICE do very different things, and we've embedded with both agencies multiple times. When we're with ICE, they are typically doing targeted enforcement of criminal illegal aliens, always knowing who they are arresting beforehand and often doing hours of surveillance to try and learn the target's schedule. Now, Border Patrol has been much more aggressive. They conduct roving patrols and raids at places like Home Depot, car washes, and flea markets, pretty much arresting anyone they suspect is in the U.S. illegally.
Now, before you ask, is this what you voted for? I would just like to stop you right there and say, why, yes. Yes, it certainly is. I voted for mass deportations. And when I voted for mass deportations, I meant everybody that's in the country illegally. Man, woman, child. And I'll tell you why. It's the most fair way to do it. It's the most fair way to do it. And if Democrats want to be mad about that, I would tell them to point their anger back at the Biden administration, who made this crisis happen by not just leaving the border wide open, but actively fighting against states that were trying to secure it, like Arizona and Texas. The Biden administration sued Arizona to remove the shipping container wall. The Biden administration sued Texas to remove the buoys from the Rio Grande, to remove the razor wire from Eagle Pass. They even sent their own guys down there to clip the razor wire in Eagle Pass. We don't have to relitigate all of that, but I think it is important to point out, when leftists get mad at you for wanting mass deportations, remind them we wouldn't need to call for mass deportations if it wasn't for your guy in office. So miss me with the anger. I voted for mass deportations. It's a huge priority. And I don't know if you're keeping score at home. We only have 3 years to do it. That's it. We can't just sit on our hands and hope for the best, right? But not actually do anything. There's no guarantee that J.D. Vance wins in 2028. It looks good. I think Vance Rubio ticket's going to be hard to beat. I'll absolutely support that ticket. But are we counting our chickens before they hatch? Because as it stands right now, we only got 3 more years. Could be even less if we don't do something big in midterms. Let's be honest. It could feel like even less. So we need to get aggressive. And if they're taking out these ICE leaders and putting in Border Patrol leaders, and they're saying the Border Patrol leaders are going to be more aggressive, I say good. Good. Sign me up. This is exactly what I voted for. I'm waiting for a Heidi Campbell tweet. You know, she says, is this what MAGA voted for? Yes, I did. I certainly did.
Now, replacing ICE leadership with Border Patrol officials signals the Trump administration wants deportation efforts to get much more aggressive, with one Border Patrol source telling Fox, quote, "What did everyone think mass deportations meant? Only the worst? Tom Homan has said it himself. Anyone in the U.S. illegally is on the table." Now, DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin wouldn't confirm the personnel shakeup in a statement to Fox, saying in part, quote, "While we have no personnel changes to announce at this time, the Trump administration remains laser focused on delivering results and removing violent criminal illegal immigrants from this country." And Dana, a senior Trump administration official, did confirm these personnel moves to Fox, adding that there was a big widespread review of ICE leadership after the One Big Beautiful Bill passed. And I'm told these changes were made based off who the administration feels can execute a mass deportation agenda, with all of that added money and staffing coming from that bill.
So they're removing people and replacing them with individuals based on merit? Also voted for that. It's weird. Weird how that works out. It's like I'm a kid at Christmas and I'm overjoyed. These are all the things I voted for. We're going to prioritize the worst first, obviously. That makes sense. But if your abuela gets caught up in a raid, your abuela gets caught up in a raid. She knew the risk sneaking into the country illegally, just like everybody else. And we got to get these illegal aliens out of here. Not only are they committing crime, the jobs Americans don't want to do, human trafficking, drug trafficking, child sex trafficking. They're committing rapes, murders, child sex crimes, but they're also sapping up our resources. And we have to be honest about that. The Democrats will tell you, no, they don't. That's not true. And then we can point them to their own news reports about how they're shifting taxpayer-funded resources to illegal aliens. I was like, no, that's not true. You remind them about the time during the Biden administration where they shut down that public school in New York, in a Trump district, to house illegal aliens. And they'll say, maybe a couple times. But we get report after report. Government's shut down right now, and they're shut down because they want to give health insurance to illegal aliens. They'll say that's a myth. Breitbart has this story. As the federal government remains shut down, HHS Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill posted to X just a handful of cases where illegal alien convicts have been able to secure Medicaid benefits. What? I thought that this was a right-wing conspiracy theory. Turns out, like any good right-wing conspiracy theory, you just have to stay patient and wait for receipts because receipts will provide themselves. Democrats will say that these people don't exist. None of this is true. Abraham Pineda Tovar, 84-year-old illegal alien from Guatemala, convicted of sex offenses, received $7,800 in free taxpayer-funded health care through Medicaid. And another example, 38-year-old illegal alien, it says George, but for the sake of the topic, Jorge Bestman, convicted of sexual assault in 2021, received more than $5,500 in Medicaid benefits. Similar instance is the case of 33-year-old Elias Niwada, convicted of sex crimes, who received a whopping $176,756 in Medicaid benefits. As well as 41-year-old illegal alien Galuk Rotega, convicted of attempted second-degree murder after he beat a man to death with a baseball bat, received more than $34,000 in Medicaid benefits. The Democrats will tell you this is not happening. They'll try to pull the Obi-Wan trick on you. These are not the aliens you're looking for. I'm trying to work in more Star Wars references to get Mason more active in the show.
Listen.
Is it working? I feel like it's working.
This is the most shocked I've ever been for you because you, a notorious no-movie guy, is working in the most movie references I've heard all year.
I'm literally doing this for Mason.
Proud of you.
These are not the references you're looking for. Listen, enforcement's going to continue to happen. I like the shakeups. I'm here for the shakeups. I'm here for firing people that aren't getting the job done, hiring people that are going to do the job more aggressively based on merit. This is exactly what I voted for. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Operation Midway Blitz still underway, and it's yielding a lot of results. Late Monday night, we got some numbers. 3,000, nearly 3,000 arrested in Chicago immigration crackdown. Customs and Border Patrol Chief Bavino says ahead of testimony. Attorneys are actually asking a judge to block immigration agents from using tear gas in Chicago. What? Oh, just let the mobs of leftists roll over you. Please, no tear gas. I think that they should be going harder.
Obviously.
If we're being honest. That the half dipping your toe in the pool, not a huge fan of. I think everybody that is rioting outside of these Border Patrol areas, the immigration facilities, the detention facilities, they should be arrested and thrown in jail for a very long time. And
right to jail.
Democrat officials that are getting in the way, telling Chicago PD to stand down, they should be arrested and thrown in jail for a very long time.
Right to jail, right away.
Why would we do anything else? Why? You're just emboldening these leftist lunatics. You understand that, right? That's all that's going to happen if we tiptoe around it. We need to show unrelenting force. And I hope that they do. When Bill Malugin is reporting that these ICE guys are getting replaced by Border Patrol guys because the Border Patrol guys are more aggressive, I hope it's the truth. And I hope we see these numbers ramp up. Because if we're being honest and we're just looking at it on paper, like, it's what I voted for, but not quite. I wanted a lot higher numbers by now. I understand you have to ramp up infrastructure. I understand that there's some steps that you need to get along the way, but we're now at the end of October. And I was expecting to see a lot more. A lot more. A little disappointed. Not going to lie. But I'm going to stay patient. And I'm going to pray that they put the right people in the positions to do the job that we voted them in to do. In an interview with ABC News on Monday, Bovino told ABC News nearly 3,000 people have been arrested in Chicago so far since the immigration crackdown began last month. Bovino explained his agency's rationale for using chemical agents against protesters. Many have criticized the legalities on how arrests have been made, including claims that no audible warnings are given before tear gas is deployed. Oh, do the protesters give audible warnings before they hurl rocks at the Border Patrol agents' vehicles? Excuse me, ma'am. Before you throw that rock, please administer an audible warning. It's 10:50. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for the Glock Store. We talk about these guys all the time, and it is crazy. I just mentioned a moment ago, October 28th already. Holidays are essentially here. Are you thinking about throwing a holiday party? Maybe for your coworkers, maybe for some friends. You want it to be a holiday party that people are actually going to remember, right? How about you throw it at the Glock Store? This is the best place to throw a holiday party. They can fit groups from 10 up to 100. For your whole company, your crew, an excuse to get together, this is the perfect event space. Plus, you'll get your own private shooting room, a firearms instructor, and the ability to take your Christmas party full auto. It's the most American Christmas party that you're ever going to have. And the full auto option is worth the upgrade. Call the Glock retail showroom today, 615-682-6565. Ask for the retail manager and say, I got to book this party immediately. Or if you can't wait, stop by the showroom, check it out for yourself. They'll help with all the details, even catering if you need it. Trust me, the dates are going to fill up fast, so you want to call the Glock Store and get your spot locked in today. 615-682-6565. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
So this dude's dog wanders into the shot. And who is this guy?
So this is Hassan Piker. He's a left-wing streamer. He's very radical, Muslim, friends with Mamdani, big Mamdani supporter. And, you know, this is just an insight to the kind of people they truly are at home. And he's on his live stream.
Yeah.
And as you said, his dog gets in the shot, won't sit down, which I understand. But at the same time, this dog is not getting in his way or anything. He is simply just circling, or as my wife would call it, nesting, trying to find that comfy spot.
Yeah.
So he shocks him.
Much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just f***ing go, just stop.
You know, kind of ironic this guy is talking about violence.
Yeah, right.
While he shocks his dog. His dog's literally not even doing anything. He's just, as you said, he's circling in the background.
Yep.
President Trump is not proposing an increase in student visas for Chinese students. The $600K references 2 years' worth of visas, which is simply a continuation of existing policy.
I don't want 300,000 people a year from China in our country.
No.
I just don't.
No.
Because I think they spy. And I think that they're stealing
I don't even
our
think
intellectual
it's not even
property.
that we think they do.
They do.
They do it. Well, they got busted operating secret police stations in our country.
Yeah.
They got busted operating a secret biolab in California.
And why are they? That's right. I remember that.
They rode a spy balloon over our entire country. There should be.
And Joe Biden let it happen.
There should be no reason why we're doing this.
Hurricane Melissa track and timeline, and nearly 700,000 Tennesseans relying on SNAP benefits to buy groceries. We'll let you know about the latest on that coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It is 10:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Joining me in studio, Senior Director for Turning Point USA, my friend Josh Tifo is here. What's up, Josh?
It's great to be back again. This is one of my favorite things I do all week.
Dude, this is big. You were in Florida yesterday. DeSantis having a bit of an announcement.
We are also today announcing a partnership with Turning Point. We want to make sure that all high schools in Florida, anybody in a high school that wants to start a state Club America chapter will be able to do so. There shouldn't be any impediments to that, and certainly no discrimination. We're not going to allow that. And any school or school district that does try to discriminate, that man right there will probably first send you a nastygram and then drop the hammer. So that will happen.
I've said mean things about DeSantis in the past. I've mentioned his high heel boots. I've mentioned the sanctimonious nickname I've used ad nauseum. But this is a good move from DeSantis. And you have to, if you're going to be critical, you have to also bring praise. How did you get this done, and when can we get it done in Tennessee?
So first, I want to go on a little bit of a riff about DeSantis. So regarding the primary, I supported Donald Trump, and I sure am glad I did. It's turned out really well for America and for the world. But I have to give DeSantis a lot of credit because he is the first huge big state governor to take this step and announce a formal Turning Point partnership. And he's getting hate online from the left. He's getting hate online from the moderates. And what he did yesterday essentially institutionalized Turning Point USA in the state of Florida. And I love what he said. And I love what the education commissioner Stassi said in his speech a few minutes after that. He gave this fiery threat to anyone on the left who was going to stop Turning Point's expansion in any way. And I absolutely loved it. As to Tennessee, I'm speaking with some very powerful people in Tennessee.
Oh, hold that thought then, because that's a hell of a tease. We'll talk about that when we get back. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Hurricane Melissa, one of the strongest hurricanes ever to churn in the Atlantic, with maximum sustained winds of 185 miles per hour. Forecasters say the Category 5 storm will hit Jamaica today. The eye wall already bringing catastrophic conditions to the island. We get more from ABC's meteorologist Kenton Jawecki.
As this moves through, it's still going to be a Category 5 for a lot of it. Of course, it will slowly start to weaken, but because it's so strong right now as it's moving in, it's going to take it a while to get down in those categories. Could still even be a Category 4 as it reaches Cuba. That's going to be by tomorrow night. It's when it's starting to get towards Cuba, and then the Bahamas by Wednesday afternoon there.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announcing more strikes on suspected drug traffickers in the Pacific, saying the U.S. carried out strikes against 4 more alleged drug boats, killing 14 people. There was a survivor in this incident that took place yesterday, and one of these 3 incidents that it's unclear exactly whether this individual was rescued by Mexican search and rescue, because they were the ones who were tasked with rescuing this individual. Nearly 700,000 Tennesseans rely on SNAP benefits to buy groceries. But if the federal government shutdown continues, EBT cards won't get new funds on November 1st, Saturday, and many recipients will end up seeking out groceries at local food pantries. One supplier is Feed America First, and its executive director in Murfreesboro, Mike Womack, says they're going to need help.
Every food bank needs volunteers. Every food bank needs dollars. They have buying power. So for us at Feed America First, it's easy. Go to feedamericafirst.com, hit donate. You can make a massive difference.
He says you can also drop off food at World Outreach Church. They'll be collecting food during every service this week and next. It's a staggering number. Amazon cutting 14,000 jobs, mostly corporate jobs. The company says it's all due to the advancements in AI. Here's ABC's Rebecca Jarvis.
It is one of the largest rounds of layoffs in the company's history. Why would Amazon be doing this right now, ahead of the holidays, while the company seems to be doing well? Well, in a note to employees this morning, they say the world is changing quickly. This generation of AI is the most transformative technology we have seen since the internet.
Amazon says these laid-off workers who are affected will have an opportunity to apply for open jobs in other parts of the company. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
All right, so anyway, Canada.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands. But don't engage unless absolutely necessary.
Is that so? Don't take matters into your own hands? Bro, they're in my living room.
We urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself and loved ones safe until police arrive, and be the best witness possible.
Oh, be the best witness possible as your wife is being beaten by home invaders. You're being tied up. Just golly, chip in and be a great witness. You know, Superman, and then, you know, you got Bizarro. In Florida, they're like, we're going to shoot you stone cold dead. This is Bizarro, Florida. Is that what Ontario is?
It's close enough.
The stuff. I never met him until yesterday, and I'm like, you are so cool.
We are also today announcing a partnership with Turning Point. We want to make sure that all high schools in Florida, anybody in a high school that wants to start a state Club America chapter will be able to do so. There shouldn't be any impediments to that, and certainly no discrimination. We're not going to allow that.
That was Governor DeSantis yesterday in Florida announcing a partnership between Turning Point USA and the state of Florida. Joining us now in studio is Senior Director for Turning Point USA, Josh Tifo. My friend Josh is here. What's up, Josh?
Hey, doing great. You cut us off at a great point before.
I know.
It was hilarious.
You were in Florida yesterday for all of this.
I was, yes. I've been working on the Florida partnership for a number of weeks now. I'm so thankful that they did everything that we asked and more. I mean, just the spirit of the DeSantis team was, what can we do to help your kids? And I may have another big announcement there. There's a big event that he may be doing pretty soon for a lot of our big Florida chapter leaders. But I'm going to deviate a little bit and talk about what you alluded to before the break.
Yes.
We are talking with various officials in Tennessee, and there could be a pretty big Tennessee announcement coming up in the next week or two.
Let's go.
So talking with some people there. I can't share it yet, but imagine what it would be like if in Tennessee, virtually every high school in the state had a Club America chapter, and a leftist parent in Tennessee, which I guess there's not too many of them, but there's some.
Oh, there's a few.
What if they wake up in the morning and he rolls over in bed and says, honey, I'm really worried about when our son's going to become a teenager, because that's when he's going to go to high school. Maybe he's going to learn about Jesus. Maybe he's going to learn about conservative values. Maybe he's going to learn about the founding fathers.
Jimmy's talking about free markets again.
I mean, it makes me think about how so many Christian conservative parents have been so afraid for decades for their kids to become teenagers.
Yes.
They're like, oh, they're going to rebel. They're going to hate me. And, oh, they're going to listen to awful music and leave the faith. What if we create the reverse culture? What if we create a culture in America where if you are not brought up in eternal truth, you learn about it in the institutions? We shouldn't complain about the left taking over institutions. Let's take over the institutions ourselves. So
I love that. Don't cede the territory. Take it back.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we should do as Christians. So we got it done in Florida, and I have to give Oklahoma a lot of credit. Oklahoma was the first mover right after Charlie died. And we're working on some big deals, maybe some news in Tennessee, maybe some news in some other big red states.
Let's go. So how do these conversations work? So you're knocking on a door, you say, hey, I'm Josh with Turning Point. I'd love to talk about partnering with your state with these schools. Like, walk me through what that process looks like when you're dealing with Florida.
So I'll give you some inside baseball on how I get a lot of things done.
I'd love to hear.
So you find people you trust and you pitch your idea, but also a kind of a big secret. You know, Weston, should I tell him?
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
You got to tell a secret.
Big secret for how I get a lot of things done is I just try to find as many people as I can who have any type of power in the process. And then I text and call all of them and say, hey, we should really do this. So Ron DeSantis and his team, spectacular, jumped at the chance to work with us. Let's say there's a governor who doesn't want to work with us. Then we should be DMing them. We should be calling them. We should be finding their friends to mention it to them. We should have their pastor mention it to them. We should be tweeting about it. We should talk to their chief of staff and their deputy chief of staff and the head of their interns and whoever we can talk to. And it makes me think of what Ronald Reagan said, if you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat. That's one big way that we get a lot of things done at Turning Point. If we find people who are ideologically like-minded, that's fantastic. But let's say they're not. I mean, let's apply some public pressure. I mean, if the grassroots wants something and you have somebody in elected office who's not really a great person, then, I mean, apply the pressure of the grassroots. So we might do that in some states, but we won't have to in Tennessee. Tennessee has really jumped at the chance to do something with us, and we're working that out right now.
Well, that's awesome. And I do think that it's a lesson that we could all learn. I mean, we see the left doing it very effectively with guys like Chuck Schumer. Now we're, going into week 4 of the government shutdown, and he's just feeling the pressure. He doesn't want to get primaried.
I mean, Chuck Schumer is at the sunset of his career. He's been very powerful, but the dynamic that he's built in the Senate is wild to me. I have a lot of business friends around the country who are conservative, but they give money to him because of a very interesting dynamic. He has essentially sold the influence block of the Democrat U.S. Senate to all kinds of people around the country, and I hope not around the world, but maybe. And these people, they tell me, they're like, I don't like him, but I give him money so that the Democrats never go after my businesses. Think about that. That's happening in the United States of America.
That sounds like extortion to the mafia.
I mean,
does it, right? Like, hey, it'd be a shame if somebody broke these windows.
I'm not saying it, but you're saying it. And I mean, the way that it works with these big corporations, and let's say that I'm talking to a friend who owns like 6 or 7 companies around the country. I mean, he's signing all kinds of forms, and he's signing off on things his accounts and his lawyers are writing. I mean, there's probably some form they messed up somewhere. And I mean, yeah, the Democrats, they shake down business owners for protection money. And that's one of the reasons why the left is so well funded. I mean, do you think these people believe in leftist values? Do you think the typical American CEO thinks it's a good idea to castrate a 12-year-old because he feels that he's a girl? I mean, they get in line because they want to make money and they're afraid the Democrats are going to come after them.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's extortion. It feels like extortion.
It is. Well, what I love is we are in a position where we can completely crush the left in culture and in this country. And I look at some recent cultural markers as proof of this. So even yesterday, AOC is going after Riley on Twitter, saying that she was like a bad swimmer or something. Do you have a clip for that?
Yes, I have Riley's response to that. So lay out what AOC said.
So AOC essentially was like, oh, well, if you were a better swimmer, then like you wouldn't have been in 5th place, somehow trying to like take away her credibility as a swimmer when she was this champion. She was an All-American. Play her response. Let's do it.
So this is Riley Gaines last night on the Ingram Angle responding to AOC.
Morally bankrupt and it's politically foolish. For clarity, Laura, yes, I finished 5th in the nation at the Division I National Championships, tying with a 6'4" man who ranked 462nd in the men's division the year prior. It was like a South Park episode, but real life. And whose side does AOC and the rest of the Democratic Party take? They take the 6'4" man who flashed his junk at women in the locker room. That's whose side they take. They cannot help themselves but be on the wrong side of every 80-20 issue, whether it's border, whether it's crime, whether it's castrating children, whether it's parental rights, whether it's men and women's sports. So here is what I will say. I want to honestly challenge AOC to a debate. She can defend socialism. I will defend capitalism. She can defend removing God. I will defend embracing a biblical worldview. She can defend child sacrifice. I will defend the sanctity of life. Any of the radical, insane Democratic policies and platform that they stand for, I will debate the opposite. I'm challenging AOC to it here.
That is Sumner County Library Board member Riley Gaines on Fox News.
and there's only one type of competition that AOC would ever agree to with Riley Gaines, and it would be making cocktails.
Yeah, it would be bartending.
I mean, that's her area of expertise. There are 2 things that AOC is good at. AOC allegedly is good at making cocktails. I don't know. I mean, I don't drink anymore, so I'm not going to test it.
She bartend with flair.
I bet she did. And then also, she does a good job of selling herself as this new era of socialism. We're finally going to make it work. We have AI and technology now, so I promise it's going to be good this time. And here's what I absolutely love. And I got to give a special shout out to Elon Musk. The other day was the anniversary of him buying Twitter, which he changed the name of to X.
He changed the world
when
with
he did
purchase.
that, he changed the entire world, because I look at, I mean, think about what Riley just said, and that clip's been seen millions and millions and millions of times since it was on Fox. And the truth is just spreading throughout the entire world. Forget the nation, throughout the entire world. Look at what just happened in Argentina. I mean, Argentina is very quickly flipping. If you don't have free flow of information on social media, then none of this happens. We witnessed what that world looks like 3, 4, 5 years ago. And I just have so much respect for Elon and what he did. So in 100 years, when we look back on the dominoes that fell so that we could have a free society, the dominoes that fell so that we could crush the left in popular culture, there are 3 men who are responsible for almost all of it. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Charlie Kirk.
Amen.
What Charlie Kirk did in culture, especially the Renaissance among the youth, will be written about in 100 years. What Elon did to restore free speech and just basic free flow of information across the internet will be talked about in 100 years. And Donald Trump is the best president we've had since George Washington. The only president better than Donald Trump had to literally reject being king in order to earn that title. Yeah. And I am so blessed that God gave us these 3 men so that we can live in a free society.
What a time to be alive. It really, it's unbelievable. And Trump, I mean, the comeback story, where he was to where he is today. I mean, he's securing $550 billion from Japan. And the Democrats are trying to spin it now as he's a doddering old man being led around by the Japanese prime minister. You know it's a good trip when the only thing the Democrats can come at you with is a 20-second out-of-context clip. Chuck Schumer's crying on the floor on the floor yesterday, saying he's dancing in Malaysia. He's like, yes, he was greeted by some dancers, and he did a Trump dance.
That was one of the best videos I've seen in my entire life.
And it's on his way to celebrate a peace deal and negotiate trade with 3 nations. Let's leave that part out because we're trying to bludgeon the orange man.
And you just hit on number 2. So actually there are 3 markers I see, not 2. So number 1, you see these silly cultural fights that their leaders are making, like AOC saying Riley was a bad swimmer, something that's obviously objectively false. She's just trying to pick a fight to become more relevant. AOC is losing relevance. I'm sorry, she is.
Riley did the Alcatraz swim pregnant. She's a beast. She is a beast of a swim. I don't think I could do that.
Which, by the way, and I tweeted about this earlier today. I got to go on a riff about this too. One thing that's like nails on a chalkboard to me, and I hear it from millennial men more than anyone else. So sometimes from women, but mostly, like I'm 32 years old, men my own age. They're like, oh, I had a baby. Now I'm too busy to work out. I'm too busy to be fit. As if they're just like a victim of their circumstances. It drives me crazy. And women usually do a better job of multitasking and saying like, okay, I got to get up at 6 a.m. if I want to work out before my baby wakes up. For every man out there who believes you can't be physically fit because you don't have enough time, do you know what I do if I have a super packed day and I have no free time to work out by myself and I'm going to be hanging out with my kids after work? We bought this double jogging stroller. And I'll strap them both into the double jogging stroller, and we'll just sprint down the sidewalk blasting Forrest Frank or something to keep the kids happy. And like I'm in the shape of my life now, even though I have the busiest schedule ever. So I'm going to share a really hard truth with you millennial men who are making that excuse. You're out of shape because of poor character, not because of lack of time. And a few of you may have medical conditions, and I'll allow that. But
we'll give some grace.
We'll give some grace for you there. But for almost all of you, if you're in bad shape, it's a reflection of poor character. And I challenge you to do something about that, not just for you, but I mean, your kids are going to look at the way that you live, not just spiritually, but physically, and they're going to subconsciously model that. I mean, do you want your kids to be healthy or not? Like that decision is largely up to you. It's a very big deal.
I feel bad. You know, sometimes it is a medical condition, but you'll see like overweight kids on the playground, and I just look at them like that's a form of child abuse. Mm-hmm. It has to be looked at as a form of child abuse. You were talking about cultural victories, and you also mentioned Forrest Frank, and I'm wondering who is going to be performing at the Turning Point halftime show. And when are we going to hear officially? Because there's been the fake posters that are going around. My wife will get all excited. She's like, what is this? What is this? It says Kid Rock is performing. I'm looking at the poster. I'm like, no, that's not real. There's like a beer can on it.
Here's the best way to know if it's a fake announcement. I mean, otherwise, I mean, you can see if it's from the Turning Point verified account. But if it has the AI subtext that's like clearly bad grammar, usually a great tell that it's fake.
Yep.
But we'll have some big announcements there soon. But it's going to be a larger than life event. And I would not be surprised, let's see, if more people watch that than the Super Bowl halftime show.
Really?
I would not be surprised.
Well, I think you're going to beat the Super Bowl halftime show. But what are you guys expecting for viewership on this halftime show? Because this could be one of the biggest things you've ever done.
So I don't want to throw out a number that I'm going to be held to in February, but it's going to be millions and millions and millions and millions of people. And to me, this is another big cultural event, which it's so great how Turning Point's in the middle of so many of these big cultural events. That will be something that we talk about the rest of our lives. Will be like, remember when somebody actually did an alternate halftime show? Like, how many times have we just complained, like, oh, this person's in the halftime show, like, oh, it's going to be terrible. Like, guess I'm going to go, like, refill the chip bowl while they're performing so I don't have to listen to too much of it. And I look at who Charlie was and the commander's intent that he instilled in so much of Turning Point USA, so many of us at Turning Point USA. His commander's intent was go out and identify a problem and fix it. Don't complain about it.
Yes.
How many times do we complain about problems as Christians, as conservatives? We're not called to complain. We're called to go out and redeem. We're called to go out and fix what's wrong in the world. And what I love, kind of sidebar, makes me think of where I was yesterday, where we had that big Florida announcement, which was New College in Florida. New College was one of the most leftist colleges in Florida like 3-4 years ago. So what did DeSantis and his team do? Like, they could have cut the funding. They could have kept riffing on it in speeches saying, oh, New College is so terrible. Like, oh, they're all a bunch of Marxists, but UF is doing amazing. Instead, they stepped in and they're like, well, what if we just replace most of the board? And what if we put Richard Corcoran, who was the ed commissioner for Florida, in there as president? And what if we just like bring this renaissance to New College? All of a sudden now it's super successful. There's all these conservatives there. As conservatives, if you're complaining about an issue, I challenge you in your personal life, but also in the macro, politically. If you're complaining about an issue, stop and ask God what he wants you to do about it.
Yeah.
And
Well-
in your marriage, with how you parent your kids, with how you run your business, with all the decisions in your life, if you're complaining about something, stop complaining and stop and ask God what he wants you to do about it.
And that was so top down from Turning Point. Even during my time there, when I was doing media director stuff, you'd have people come in and say, there's an issue. And we know, the staff is young. I'd say, okay, what are the solutions? Well, I didn't think about, okay, well, come back when you have like 3 solutions and then we'll start diving into this. Because you need to bring solutions, not problems. But I love that you guys are always meeting the moment. And it seems like this is going to be a massive moment at the halftime show. Any rumors that Creed has been signed for Jack Posobiec?
I can neither confirm nor deny. But let's talk about Jack. Jack is a rock-solid icon in the conservative movement who, without really trying to, has become an even bigger name over the past couple of months. And I respect him so much for the man he is and just how consistent he's been and how he doesn't really follow political trends. He sets them. He's a man of integrity. I'm a big Jack Posobiec fan. I watch a lot of Jack content. My time is very limited, and I watch a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, I'm a Jack Posobiec guy. And I saw him at the memorial service, and I told him just how he's been able to continue on through all of this with how close he was to Charlie. It's been it's admirable just how he continues to push through, and he's done a great job. I think that he is going to be one of the torchbearers for Turning Point for a long time. Because of it.
He already is. And before I forget, we keep going off on all of these rabbit trails, which have been a lot of fun. I want to get to my third marker that tells me that the left is in retreat and in a really bad place right now. It's how much they're freaking out over the White House ballroom. Why are they freaking out about a White House ballroom? That's the fight that they want to pick. Like, that's what the Clintons are tweeting about. Like, oh, the honor of the White House is something that the Clintons have, like, the moral high ground to talk about. So it actually makes me think of a greater truth, which is the fact that we as conservatives, we build. And the left tears down. So what are they doing? They're talking about how whenever they seize power, they're going to tear down this ballroom.
Eric Swalwell said if you're running for president in 2028, it needs to be one of your campaign promises that you'll tear it down.
Yeah, well, fortunately, nobody takes him seriously, even China, even with all the great work that they've done with him.
It's just.
And by the way, the ballroom, and so many big people have been tweeting this and talking about this, it needs to be the Charles J. Kirk White House ballroom.
I love that idea.
I mean, we all know that Charlie would have been president someday.
Yeah, 100%.
And what better way to honor his legacy for the rest of American history than to name the White House ballroom after Charles J. Kirk?
I hope that they do it. You know, not a single taxpayer dollar was going to be spent on that ballroom. That is until Hakeem Jeffries announced investigations. There will be taxpayer dollars launched for that. And if they ever demolish it, they'll use taxpayer funds for that as well. We got Josh Tifo in studio. He's the senior director for Turning Point USA. He's going to be hanging out with us all hour. We'll be back next. It's 11:24 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Weston, what email?
Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is spooky season. You don't want to get tricked when it comes to your home. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is the crew you can trust, and they won't ghost you when you call. Here's the fun part. You can put the kids to work, and you can get a free Beehive Club membership. You grab a pumpkin. You make the kids carve Buzz the Bee. That's the mascot into the pumpkin. You post it on social media. Everybody says, wow, you did a great job. It's amazing. It's amazing. And you say, yes, we're so proud. And then you snag a Beehive Club membership. It's the best. Show up your carving skills, snag some perks. Now for the treats, HVAC service, schedule your fall maintenance. You'll get a free dryer vent cleaning. That's a $229 value. If you have plumbing issues, any repairs that they do, they're also going to flush your water heater. Your pipes will thank you. And if you're thinking about a new HVAC system, how does a free 10-year parts and 5-year labor warranty sound? Sounds like a $750 value, and that's going to be yours for free with any system install. All you got to do is call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, or find them online, busybeehvac.com. What's a story that the American people are missing, the mainstream media is not covering, that deserves a little bit more attention?
I think the biggest story is President Trump signing into law the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act.
Amen.
That is now law. That is awesome. That is essentially protecting veterans from their homes foreclosing.
61,000 American veterans are in danger of losing their homes, as you know. But thanks to this bill, the Department of Veterans Affairs will be empowered to pay loan holders the necessary amount to prevent foreclosures on our veterans, so our veterans won't be foreclosed and put out onto the streets.
That's now law, and I think that's something that everyone should both sides of the aisle can come together and celebrate.
Now, before you ask, I definitely voted for this.
Okay. They didn't take Reese's or food stamps no more, no candy. So they went live when they said they're going to take out all the snacks. They're taking away all the snacks on EBT. What's the point of having it?
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
Go on, get your butt to work if you want to get some fudge rounds. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
The Reese, they didn't take the Reese out. Food stamps is boring right now.
A company in Middle Tennessee says it's closing early next year, leaving hundreds without a job. We'll tell you about this story and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It is 11:28, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV's up and running. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, the big ones, YouTube, and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. Josh Tifo's in studio. He's the Senior Director for Turning Point USA. He's joining us every Tuesday. He's a local guy, a member of Turning Point South. That's what we affectionately refer to it as. We need some T-shirts with that on there.
Yeah, TPS.
TPS. Let's go. You got some big stuff happening. Allie Beth Stuckey at LSU the other night. And J.D. Vance coming up at, what college is J.D. Vance?
Ole Miss tomorrow.
Ole Miss tomorrow.
With the great Erica Kirk. So it's going to be Erica and the vice president side by side. But first, let's talk about what happened last night at LSU. We had Governor Landry and we had Allie Beth Stuckey both speak to thousands and thousands of students at LSU. Some of these southern schools, I mean, we do anything with Turning Point, and it's just like 3,000, 5,000, 7,000 kids. UT Knoxville, Ole Miss, LSU. It's just there's so many Patriots there.
You're in the weeds on a lot of the college stuff, and I've heard this been talked about before, but I wonder your take on it. Are these southern schools, the Alabamas, the Ole Miss, the Tennessee, Are they becoming the new Ivy League in America as opposed to the Harvards and the Yales of the world?
In a way, they're becoming the heart and soul of American culture, which I absolutely love. But in order to answer that question, you have to zoom out and look at how much accreditation actually means in modern day society. Harvard and Yale and all of these great institutions have essentially lit their own credibility on fire over the last few decades. I mean, when I was younger, I did really well in school. And I mean, that was something I considered like, oh, should I go to an Ivy League? I'll never forget, I was talking with somebody about the possibility of maybe applying for Yale Law School. Good thing I didn't go to law school. And one of the alumni told me, he said, you're the wrong color to go to Yale.
Oh.
So
that's nice.
So that's the culture that they had established, that it was all about diversity and equity and inclusion before they called it DEI. And as soon as you take merit away from the equation, then credibility just erodes and then eventually falls off a cliff. So to older Americans, Yale and Harvard, I mean, that means something. To young Americans, it doesn't matter at all. And especially look at the rebellious culture that we have, where we want to rebel against the status quo. It's way cooler in culture to go to UT. It's way cooler in culture to go to Alabama or Ole Miss. And also, you just walk around these places and it's wildly different. Like, I know we talked last week about my trip to New York and New Jersey and how so many people looked sad and dreary, and it's not a place you wanted to be. You go to the Alabama campus or the Ole Miss campus or the UT Knoxville campus, not everybody, but like most of them are like healthy, attractive, smiling, athletic people. I mean, a lot more central casting crowd, as Trump would say. He loves to say central casting.
So I want to talk a little bit more about Allie Beth Stuckey at LSU, and then I want to talk about J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk at Ole Miss. We'll do that after the news with Ken Weaver, which starts right now on Super Talk.
Perfect.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, some unsettling news for hundreds of employees of a major employer. Reports say HD Supply closing its Laverne plant, going to lay off 108 workers by January 9th. The company filed a warn notice with the state confirming the shutdown at its Teledyne Place location there in Laverne. A rapid response team is stepping in to help affected employees with support services. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announcing more strikes on suspected drug traffickers in the Pacific, saying the U.S. carried out strikes against 4 more alleged drug boats, killing 14 people. ABC senior Pentagon reporter Luis Martinez has more on these latest strikes.
Once again, it's in the Eastern Pacific. This is now the third time that we've seen strikes in the Eastern Pacific. The bulk of these strikes have been occurring in the Caribbean around Venezuela. But we learned that 14 individuals were killed in the 3 separate strikes that targeted 4 ships. There were 2 vessels that were side by side. That was the first strike, then followed by 2 other strikes on speeding boats.
President Trump heading to South Korea for the second stop of his week-long tour to Asia. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers tells us what we can expect in this next leg.
It's been notable to see the president talking about how the United States has very strong ties with other countries in the region ahead of his very big meeting on Thursday with China's President Xi. He was focused on trade with the new Japanese prime minister and business investment by Japanese companies in the United States. But of course, the centerpiece of this trip is going to be that meeting on Thursday.
And Americans getting skinnier thanks to widely used weight loss drugs. ABC Sherry Preston, though, says those drugs aren't proving to cure everything.
The use of GLP-1s like Ozempic and Wegovy has more than doubled since early 2024, when only about 6% of American adults self-reported using them. Now, Gallup says that number is more than 12%, and those drugs have had an impact. For the first time in more than 15 years, obesity rates in the U.S. have fallen from almost 40% in 2022 to 37% today. Diabetes rates in the country, however, have gone up, emphasizing GLP-1s aren't a cure-all for chronic diseases. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. We talk about these guys all the time. And if you got weird smelling water, you should be thinking about these guys. Do you wash your clothes and you get stains in them? You're like, this was supposed to clean this. That's an issue. Do you have bad tasting water? also an issue. We can clean all of that up with Better Water LLC. They offer a full range of options, reverse osmosis to UV light filters and more. You could have some nasty stuff in your water. Sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. Better Water will test your water for free. And if you have any of that nasty stuff in it, they'll clean it up for you. They are a local company based out of Smyrna. They're already doing this at the local coffee shops around town and at the hospitals. You've probably tasted their work and you don't even know it. If any of these things are happening with your water, stop drinking it and call Better Water today. 615-355-6063, 615-355-6063, or find them online, betterwater.com.
Did you see this? This guy is from India. He makes a rogue illegal U-turn and an SUV slams into the back of his truck, killing 3 people inside. The highways are littered with illegal alien truck drivers killing people. How do they get their licenses?
Well, he's in California. We are working with the federal government to extradite him back to Florida. He will face incredibly severe charges here, and then he will be deported. But I will tell you that where was the role of the company in all of this? I don't think this guy spoke English. He clearly didn't know what he was doing behind the wheel. And yes, you shouldn't be giving illegals driver's license. We don't allow that in Florida. California does. They've issued probably over 1 million licenses to illegals in recent years.
Democrats always say, if we could just save one life. Imagine how many lives we could save if we required all of the truck drivers out there to speak English and be citizens of America.
It's 11:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, TuneIn, or the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, up and running, YouTube, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Josh Tifo is here. He's a senior director for Turning Point USA, a friend of mine, and he comes in every Tuesday, unless you're, gallivanting at the White House and doing other things because you're a busy guy.
Hey, we have a lot of fun. But anyways, what we were talking about, these big tour stops this week.
Well, first of all, it's unbelievable how quickly the Turning Point ranks mobilized to get back on tour. I did not see that coming, and it's admirable what they've been able to do just from the entire team. And I know it's like inside baseball, but like these teams have not stopped. They have continued to work throughout all of this. The memorial service, 7 days after Charlie's assassination, the biggest event that Turning Point has ever put on. Then you launch the halftime show, which you guys are working behind the scenes on. Then you're back on tours. The tour tomorrow has J.D. Vance. So that brings with it a whole host of other, X factors as far as security, planning, preparing. And you guys just keep going. How does this team continue to perform at such a high level?
So the real reason is because I believe God is supernaturally helping so many people on this team. We have so many amazing Christians who are driven spiritually to be here. But secondarily, we just have the best of the best. I mean, You can kind of go down the list of a lot of the key executives and even a lot of the key mid-level staff, a lot of the new people.
Yep.
We are hiring people who otherwise could have worked in a governor's office, could have worked at Goldman Sachs, could have worked at Disney, could have worked at any type of big coveted blue chip corporation. And they're here because of a calling. So you're not dealing with a typical company where you have a bunch of people who this is just their job and they go home and they drink beer and watch football and forget about what they do. This is their obsession. This is what they care about. So when Charlie was martyred, these people just snapped into action. And I could tell story after story after story of just these elite performers who some have come over from other organizations, some have come over from the for-profit world, some were just superstars in college. But what's so nice about our chapter structure and also a lot of our special projects like electing student body presidents and vice presidents from those elite chapter members is that we're recruiting from the best to the best. I mean, the people interviewing to work for Turning Point USA, like it's the fraternity president, it's the president of the student government, it's the captain of the football team. So that's a big reason why. But let's talk about LSU last night. So Governor Landry and Allie Beth Stuckey spoke. I am so proud of Allie Beth Stuckey. She gave an extended, explicit gospel presentation where she said some very controversial things. She talked about Jesus being the only way to God, which inherently that's more controversial than just about any political statement you can make. You look at who we are as Christians. If you're a Bible-believing Christian and you believe that heaven is real and you believe that hell is real and you believe that Jesus is the only way to God and that after this life, I mean, we're absent with the body, present with the spirit. We're either going to heaven if we've received the free gift of salvation, or we're going to hell if we have not. That's more controversial than any political topic we've ever covered on air together. Allie Beth Stuckey did such a beautiful job of sharing that last night, and an even wilder thing happened. When she shared the gospel, there was roaring applause like you were at a football game. What a cultural moment we are in right now, where somebody shares the explicit, controversial gospel of Jesus Christ and gets cheers like she's at a football game.
And it's a young crowd. This isn't a crowd at a mega church. This is college kids.
And that makes sense because most of the revival right now is happening with the young. And it's not just young men, it's young men and young women. And I give Erica Kirk a lot of credit for that. I give Allie Beth Stuckey a lot of credit for that. I give Riley Gaines a lot of credit for that. There is a renaissance with young women that is happening in the country right now. And I absolutely love what I see. It makes me think of a conversation I had yesterday with my friend Drew Parker, the country star, where, I mean, we talked for 20, 30 minutes. That dude is so obsessed with telling people about Jesus. I don't know if you heard his new song, Blame Jesus. It's extraordinary. It's one of my favorite songs.
I'll check it out.
I was driving to pick up breakfast this morning, and my kids were in the car, and my 4-year-old daughter demanded that I play Blame Jesus 4 times in a row. That's how much she loves it.
Let's go.
And she was singing it. It was great. I have a video. But God is calling all these people from all over the place in our culture, people who otherwise would have been working for Goldman Sachs, people who were big country stars who now want to sing about Jesus, people who could have been doing all kinds of different things. And one by one, these leaders in culture are answering the call, and they're saying, yes, God, I want to be part of this revival. I want to be part of this harvest of souls. And it's happening. It's not just happening with young America. It's starting to happen with the rest of the country. But it's a bottom-up spiritual renaissance that is happening in this country. And praise God that we get to be part of it. I mean, we're going to meet so many people in heaven who are going to say, like, yeah, I was saved on 9/10, or I was saved the day of the memorial.
Yep.
And we get to be part of that. Like, how cool is that?
It is. It's awesome. My son has been obsessed with Dusty Bibles lately.
It's a great song.
That's been his go-to.
I haven't met Josiah yet. I need to.
Yeah, you got it.
I love the Josiah Queen Forrest Frank song, Jesus is Coming Back Soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge. But
total banger alert.
But it's also, it's such a moment that we're in where, we mentioned earlier Elon Musk purchasing X. And for so long, it was like, oh, well, if you don't like that, build your own Netflix. Oh, if you don't like that, make your own Twitter. Oh, if you don't like that, create your own music. And it feels like we're finally at this tipping point where, yeah, we've done all those things and we're starting to see the fruit. And the timing is so perfect with the revival moment that we're seeing in the country. You couldn't have planned it any better. It's like we were made for this moment that we're in right now. And Turning Point and the staff there, another example of just made for this moment. Tomorrow, you're at Ole Miss with J.D. Vance. Tell me what that is going to look like.
So it's going to be a huge mega rally with thousands and thousands and thousands of students. And I am so elated for Erica Kirk and Vice President Vance to speak. I mean, 2 of the leaders of our movement. And what's happening is these tour stops are each kind of like their own mini AmFest, which logistically is crazy. The events team and the field team and everyone at HQ and everyone in those regions working on each event, I mean, they're probably not going to sleep tonight. They're going to be out there working with Secret Service. They're going to be out there working with a university.
Yep.
The level of elite operation I see top down throughout the organization is extraordinary. And I don't know if you ever read Jocko Willick's book, Extreme Ownership. It's one of the best books I've ever read. I've given it to a lot of people. He talks about this concept of commander's intent. When somebody so clearly lays out their vision in an organization or a system that everyone else just wakes up and they know what they're supposed to do. I experienced this. So after Charlie died, I knew exactly what Charlie would want me to do. Because, I mean, he led me for almost 11 years. And I didn't need him to tell me what to do. Because he had ingrained in me his vision for Turning Point, his vision for the country, and I knew exactly what my role needed to be. And I would bet that almost every key executive in the organization has some type of story like that, where Charlie poured into us so much. The commander's intent in the organization was so crystal clear that we just woke up and we snapped into action. So for me, September 10th was the toughest day of my life. And for whatever reason that night, my wife and I, we were going through Revelation near the end where it was talking about the new heaven and the new earth. And we were reading the part where the angel is describing all the wonders of the new heaven and the new earth to the Apostle John. And the angel pauses and says, "This is the reward for those who are victorious." And for whatever reason, God just used that moment to just cut to my heart. And that's when I realized that Charlie won. Charlie was with Jesus. Charlie was with the God he obsessed over and talked about and wanted to tell the world about regardless of the consequences. And he won. And now it's our fight. Yep. And I woke up the next morning and I was just in full-on battle mode.
Ready to go.
From September 11th on. And I've been in that place ever since. I'll probably be in that place for the rest of my life.
It's a good place to be. It's a rewarding place.
It is. It's a joyful place.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not dark. It's not gloomy.
And I say joyful instead of happy for a reason. Joy is a fruit of the Spirit. Happiness culturally kind of is dependent on circumstances. Love and joy are the first fruits of the Spirit mentioned. We're called to be joyful even in the most dire of circumstances. We're called to be joyful when our best friend gets assassinated. And that's a crazy concept that people who are not Christians don't understand. But you see that type of crazy Spirit-led attitude in Erica Kirk when she forgave the killer at the memorial. If you're not a Christian, if you don't have the Holy Spirit, you look at that and you're like, that's completely nuts. I would never do that. And that's the whole point.
I mean, listen, I am a Christ follower, and I leaned over to my wife and said, I don't know if I could have done that soon. It was an incredible moment of strength watching that. And I mean, not a dry eye in the building. Nobody knew that was coming.
And it didn't surprise me, though, because I've known Erica ever since she started dating Charlie. And I was always wildly impressed with her character. I was so happy when they started dating because I could notice that Charlie was very happy after they met. And he was in that place, I mean, really up until his last day because of Erica. I mean, a lot of his story and the joy that he had, which led him to be able to push as hard as he did for our country, was because of Erica Kirk.
Yesterday, Erica posted on Instagram a video of her arriving to headquarters in Arizona. And they still have the massive memorial outside, which spans, like 2 blocks, 3 blocks. And it really struck me at how caring everybody was at that memorial to not cover up anybody else's items that they left behind. That stuck with me, and it's going to stick with me. But as they're rolling in, there's a large sign with Charlie on it, and on the video that Erica posted, it's Charlie's 4-year-old daughter. And then she says, "Oh, it's Daddy. We're here. Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk." It broke me. How is Erica doing today, and how are the kids doing?
So that's something I don't want to speak about too much. That's her business, not mine. But I'm thrilled to see the way that she's trusting God through all of this. That's the way that I'd put it. And the speeches that she gave after Charlie died, I mean, are astounding. They will echo through history. The strength and the closeness to God exhibited by the power of her words, the power of her forgiveness. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I have no words to describe that situation. I mean, they're never going to see him again. I'm never going to see him again. It's just, I don't think that there's any way I could even describe how she's doing. But also, that's her business, not mine.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I respect that. Tomorrow night, she's going to be giving a speech. J.D. Vance is going to be giving a speech. Ole Miss. How many people are you expecting?
Several thousand. We'll see how many several thousand, but it's going to be about as much as security lets us pack into that arena. So,
it's going to be up to the fire marshal.
Yeah, I'll give. So that's why I can't give a straight number. I'll give you the number when we're together next Tuesday, but it's going to be thousands and thousands. And the format of all this. I mean, let's say that we pack 6,000, 7,000 people into the venue. That's amazing. The clips are often seen by 50, 60, 70, 80 million people, and that's the real magic. And I love the format of these events because Gen Z, especially young Gen Z, is so hungry for authentic, organic content because the whole structure of their world was so fake. It's like, shut up and put a mask on, social distance, you can't go to your prom. We all evolved from these single-celled organisms. You can't question it. And the Bible isn't real. And all these things were just kind of shoved down their throat, and they're rejecting them. So they're rebelling against all of this cultural orthodoxy. And it puts them in this place where they're ready to rebel and they're ready to fight. It's very interesting.
Are we going to be live streaming that?
Yes.
So it'll be on the Turning Point USA.
All the Turning Point channels, and I heavily encourage all of you to watch it. It's going to be quite a night.
No, I can't wait. And I had heard rumblings about administration members, and to get JD Vance out there is unbelievable. Will Usha be in attendance?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check on that.
Okay, because hearing Erica talk about Usha Vance has been remarkable. So I was hoping for that. Where do we go from here after the event tomorrow at Ole Miss? What's next for Turning Point USA?
So we have all kinds of tour stops and contributors speaking everywhere. But what I want to talk about is America Fest.
Let's go.
America Fest is going to be extraordinary, December 18th to 21st in Phoenix, amfest.com. This thing was huge last year. Yes. I mean, it's going to be the center of the global political universe this year. I'm elated, and it's also going to have a lot of cultural weight for our movement because we'll be about 3 months separated from really the biggest cultural happening in the modern American era. And it will be our chance to, both in the short term and the long term, point our movement in the direction we're going to go, which is really a historic opportunity to crush the left in popular culture. We have a real pathway to, in the next 5 to 10 years, make these ideas that are the bedrock of the left, abortion, all of the crazy LGBT mafia stuff, the idea that you can actually try socialism and it's going to work, all these things that were culturally dominant a few years ago and are receding now, we have a chance to stamp them out in American culture. How many Nazis do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That was an ideology that was stamped out in American culture. And modern American Marxism can and will be stamped out in American culture if we boldly go forward and we say, we're not going to let this idea in our society anymore. We don't think it's cool to even entertain the idea of trying to trans a kid. Like, what on earth are we talking about? What would any politician's take be on that 10 years ago? You asked Barack Obama about that in a press conference, he'd be like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. There are some ideas that deserve to be stamped out and tossed into the ash heap of history. And we have a real chance to do that. We have a real chance to do that because Gen Z is already the most based culture in American history. And it's not just politically, and that's what gives it so much power. It's actually spiritually and culturally driven. It's not somebody who's a conservative first because they love Trump, and then all of a sudden they're entertaining the ideas of going to church and getting married and having kids. It's that these kids are actually getting saved.
Yeah.
And that's why they want to get married young and have kids and go to church. And that's why they're conservative. And because it flows from the faith to the politics, not the politics to the faith, there's really nothing you can do to shake that. What's the kid going to get, like, unsaved?
And isn't it amazing that they told us for how many years that Gen Z was a lost cause?
Yeah, they tried.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, the bad guys were kind of trying to speak it into existence. And Charlie had so much vision here. And it's the reason why Charlie planned more of these big campus rallies the 6 months after the election than before the election. And we all thought he was crazy. And he did it anyway. And I understand why now. And this is why we didn't rest. This is why we pressed our foot on the gas. He correctly identified what was happening in culture. He correctly identified that there were millions and millions of Gen Z kids who were leaving mainstream leftist secularism, like months before the election because of this larger-than-life Trump narrative. And he was wise enough to see that these people were not magically conservatives. They were one-time Trump voters who were voting against Kamala Harris. And he saw that and he said, we have 6 months to a year to turn these into actual rock-solid, lifelong, hardened conservatives who vote with us for the rest of their lives. And what's the best way to do that? The best way to do that is to give them eternal truths to build their life on. Do you just tell them that feminism is dumb, or do you convince them that God has a better design for them? And that is the heart and soul of what we're doing at Turning Point USA.
Amen. I love it. AmFest in December in Phoenix. There are still some tickets available, I believe, but like barely any.
Not a lot.
Amfest.com if you're interested. Josh Tifo, where can we keep up with you on social media?
At Josh Tifo, ThiFault, on TikTok, on X, on Instagram, and would love to connect with you.
Worth a follow, as always. Josh Tifo, he's going to be here every Tuesday with us in the 11 o'clock hour. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate you. It's 11:55. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.